Week Show. It's the Marcia Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite, educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Week Show. It's the Marcia Week Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite, educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Week Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls. This is the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I have in my hand the national flag of Barbados, and you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. And tonight we have an amazing, inspirational show lined up for you, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. I know what a lot of you are feeling. I know that some of the thoughts that you're having, the many questions. But tonight, what are we saying? We're saying if there's no opposition, which we know there's none, then what's going to happen? Barbadians must rise. The people must rise. And that is what is happening tonight on the Marcia Week Show. And we are so happy that you have joined us this evening. We are so happy that you have joined us this evening tonight. There are a couple of things that we are asking tonight. We have quite a number of things that we are asking tonight. We want to know about the new Attorney General. I want to hear your thoughts on that, because we want to know. I mean, if he's capable, that's great, but we want to know, is this we want to know the readiness of this Attorney General. What's the role of the Attorney General? Is he fit? What does he have the capacity for this critical office as Attorney General? We want to look at that. We want to also look at some of the reporting from the CARICOM observers in their assessment of the election 2026. And of course, we want to say thank you to the candidates, those who stepped forward to serve, whether they're successful or not. You know, we want to say thank you to them. Last night we said thank you to Mr. Thorne, the leader of the opposition, and we want to say thank you to the candidates. We want to look at the role of citizens. What is the role that the citizens must now play in safeguarding democracy? Does that matter to you? Does it matter that that democracy is safeguarded? And what role can we play? And I also want to touch on this prophet, that every prophet in quotation, everybody's sending me a video on this prophet. And I think it's important that we just say a quick word on that. I wouldn't spend an entire evening on that, but that's to say a very quick word on that. Dr. Ferdinand Nichols is going to join us. I could see he might be having some technical issues. At this time, he's going to let me know if he's ready to come in. But while we wait on him, let me send out a special welcome to ye loyal sons and daughters all. Divine greetings, everyone, says Andrea Critchlow. Judith Gills, divine greetings to you. Are you ready to stay the course? Are you ready to arise? Are you ready to arise on behalf of Barbados? Flojo Maloney, Heathcliff, Jefferson Sobers, Mavis Lashley, Trevor, Patricia Green, Teroni Hall, Joyanne Roberts, Jacqueline, good evening. Lori Bob, I'm still singing your name. Chantel Williams, I'm a big girl. Yes, Lori Bob is telling everybody like and share. This is part of how we're going to work together as a people to demand democracy in this country, accountability, demand transparency. Are you still for that? If you're still for that, let me see a thumbs up. As tired as you might be, as exhausted as some of you might be, as angry as some of you might be, I say put all of that energy, the anger, the exhaustion, the tiredness into arising and to continue to demand transparency and accountability. What they would want is for us to stop. Justin says, Watchman, what of the night? Yes, I love it. I came on and I saw that, and that was quite encouraging, Justin. Wow, I love that, Justin. Hey, Matthew B., good night. Good night. Good to see that you've joined, and thank you for the work that you've done in this campaign. Monica Ince, good night. Kalertz, good night. Oh, my goodness. Good night. I'm a big girl. I said your name already, but I could say it again. Shirley, good night. King Daughter, good night. Marcia Miller, how are you? Thank you, guys, for the work that you have done for your country. I know some of you are tired. I know I could feel the exhaustion. I get the cause. Some of you are frustrated. Some of you are angry. Some of you are hurting, but you're still going. You're still logged on. And that tells me that there's a life there. There is that determination. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Teroni, good night. Good night. Yolanda, good night. Yours truly, good night. Jade Emperor, good night. Beverly Purse, good night. Tyrone, good night. Good night. Donald Robinson, good night. Andrea Critchlow, good night. Pauline Holder, good night. Sonia Perch. Chris Brewster, good night. Shaka, good night. CG, we can't give up on your birth country. This is my adopted country. We can't give up. We must continue to ask for transparency and accountability, especially now. Wesley, hey, Sonia, good night to everybody. If I missed any names, my apologies. Good night to everybody. Good night to everybody. Did I miss you? If I miss you, write again. Good night, NH NMHC7. Good night, everybody. Did I miss anybody? Wesley, Teroni, did I miss you, Teroni? I'm a Barbadian. You're right, I am. Oh, folks, I just want to say to everybody, as Dr. Ferdinand is going to tell me when he's ready to join. He's ready. He's ready. Good night, Dr. Ferdinand. Oh,
And
pleasure to have you
and
tonight.
a great good night to you, to Marcia, and to the loyal opposition. And as you can see, we're smiling. There is always times and points in life where you go through challenges. The Apostle Paul went through that. And of course, the most memorable person that went through that was Jesus Christ himself. I don't know if you remember one occasion, Marcia, when he was talking about, unless you eat of my body and drink of my blood, you have no part of me. And many people left him. And then he turned to his disciples and he said, are you going to leave me too? You could almost hear that note of disappointment and concern coming from him, because he was a person with emotional capability just like every single one of us. And I'm so glad tonight that in the face of challenges of life that include successes and defeats, that the Lord still remains our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. So it's a real joy to be with you tonight, as it is every night that we open this show, and we're on this show. And Marcia, I don't recall how many years it's been going, but I think the loyal opposition was actually going before we had an opposition in Parliament. I believe so.
Yeah,
If my
yeah,
mind
it was. It was
correct. So
before.
what we will do is we will now raise the bar, so to speak, of the responsibility as citizens of this country, of being the opposition, the loyal opposition, and holding the government's feet to the fire. That is why we are here.
Yes, 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 Dr. Ferdinand. And as I said earlier, we're a family here, and we've gone through so much together. We've gone through so much together. We've gone through, all of these legislations that were
Oh,
passed or
yes.
being brought in by the through the cabinet into Parliament. Some of them made us so angry. Remember that, guys? We marched. There's so many things that we've done, and I would love for the loyal opposition to write some of those things in the chat right now. Of course, the one that we would all remember is the cybercrime bill, Dr. Ferdinand.
That's correct.
Yes, when we were able to raise money on our own through people, there were business people in Barbados who gave us money. There were people in the diaspora. We had a whole diaspora contingent that took care of you guys in
That's
Washington.
right. That's right.
That is a historic event that we were able to
Absolutely.
do together, right, Dr. Ferdinand?
Absolutely, Marcia. And what an honor it was for us to be able to go before the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. I think I have that correct.
Yes.
And present the position of the citizens of Barbados from a number of different aspects, the religious one, the entertainers one, the women's one. We were able to present it and raise our concerns at an international level. And that will continue, Marcia. There is no one that is going to stop the voice of activism when things are not right and when things are amiss, that will, in a real way, threaten to impact the freedoms and securities of our people, such as one or two things we are already beginning to see happening. And we haven't even got through 72 hours of this election as yet.
Yes, most definitely. And we also think of the humanitarian part of what we do here, as a loyal opposition on the Marcia Week show. There's so many families, Dr. Ferdinand, in Barbados that we have been able to assist as a group. When we say we, not Dr. Ferdinand myself, but every single one of you. You are able to assist, and I want to, on behalf of all those families, to say thank you. because
And,
sometimes, yes, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, Marcia, and may I add a thank you too, because this group has assisted myself and my wife as well, not only through prayer support, but some persons gave financially to assist us, and we are tremendously thankful and tremendously grateful for all that has we have been beneficiaries of. With relation to what my wife has had to go through over the past 3 months, and many people may not be aware, but she did have a near death experience, which the Lord healed her of on arrival at the Hospital International Columbia when we got there and discovered that God had worked a miracle. And so we are grateful this evening for the assistance that this loyal opposition has provided us with. And we want to say thank you as well.
Yes, thank you for saying that, Dr. Ferdinand. And this is why we have to do this, is because we do not want anybody, Angela, to write the narrative concerning the people of Barbados. Let it not be said in this moment that we never stood up. That's a lie. That's a
right.
lie.
That's right.
And we didn't just stand up and fight legislation, but we stood up for each other. Let it not be said in this beautiful country that Bajans were passive in this time, because that is not the case. Look at Angela reminded us, the lady who fell in the well. She was able to get her benefits from NIS. And she was able to get, her treatment for her, or we were able to raise the money, and I myself, we went and we paid the physical therapist for her, and walked her through some tough situations financially. There's so many, it's just so many things that we have helped so many people as a group. And again, when I say we, I'm talking about all of Barbados that came together to help the young lady with the heart, the issue with her liver. That is still being monitored. Lots of things, we're waiting on hospitals. We can't do anything about that, So, there's just, yeah, go ahead.
Marcia, if I can inform you right now that the Hospital International Columbia has indicated to us that they are available to assist anyone out of Barbados when it comes to any medical condition that they're unable to have met here in Barbados. And we do have a connection with a Barbadian who is currently there, as a matter of fact, who
Wonderful.
can make arrangements if a person is not able to get the medical attention that they need here in Barbados. And I can tell you, Marcia, the HIC in Colombia is one of the top 5 of 1,200 hospitals or more in Colombia. And they
Yes.
are ranked very, very highly. So if anyone needs assistance, they can reach out to you. You can let me know, and I will send that information through to the contact in Colombia.
Well, what we'll do, we'll write it up nicely, and
Yes.
and then we can showcase it on so people.
Absolutely.
But thank you. But Angela is remembering a lot of things. The Joes River activism. Look at that this was the space that most of that happened on. Somebody talking about the Savvy on the Bay activism. Whole town.
Yes.
Whole town, they have not moved on that. They can't move on it. That is still sitting there. Now, the thing is this, that the election is over. Are we going to sit by, folks, and allow them to continue to because they think that they have the all the seats, that the people are going to allow them to go back to those issues that they had to put on the table to bring them forward? Yeah. Look at the section. What was it again? 2B. This was of the wiretapping.
Yes.
Where they had to go and change it because
Yeah, and the bill to do with the police, Marcy, remember that one where we were almost being threatened with imprisonment or being fined if we did not assist police in the execution of their duties? That was another one.
Correct. Correct. And Angela, remember we made presentations in Parliament. I mean, all that that has happened. I mean, it's just too many to count, because sometimes, and what we really need to do is to document this ourselves, because what happens a lot of times is that people, they want to tell you your narrative. You know,
Mm-hmm,
they
mm-hmm,
want
mm-hmm.
to create the narrative for you. All right. And so we need to remember this. The number of marches, they say, this is
Oh
what
wow.
they say, Bajans don't march. The number of marches, the protest marches that we paid for. We don't owe anybody any money, Dr. Ferdinand. The marches,
And
I
we've
mean,
never
it's
taken money from anybody either. And
correct.
when I
No,
say
there's
that, we've never, nobody, no political party,
no political
no
party.
external influence, nothing,
You
nothing.
know, they talk about external money is coming in from external sources, and
Nah,
money is coming, that what they're talking about is completely lies, completely made up,
yeah, yeah.
completely made up, you know. And so we are ready, we are ready. Once the time is right, we are ready to go out, and we are ready to march again. And I know it's going to take some time for some people to get there, to start feeling a little better, but wonderful. And Angela, you're on. Listen, you need to be the one that document these things. The morning prayer sessions, we now have morning prayer sessions 3 times a week, on right here on the Africa Bridge TV channel. And not to mention the kind of education that happens. I don't know
Oh
about you, Dr.
yes,
Ferdinand, but I've learned so much being on the
oh
show.
yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The number of persons that we have had on, I remember, I think it was Corey Greenidge that was on just before the elections, and I was just stunned. I was not on the show as host or co-host or anything. I was watching from Colombia, and he was on the show, and it was an education, just listening and taken in. And several of the other persons we have had on treating to different aspects of governance and legislation and humanitarian work and all these different kind of aspects. Been tremendous.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, there's just so much that has occurred on the show. Um, you know, um, um, Somebody's saying something here.
Someone was
Yeah,
talking about the overseas guests invited. We had several people from overseas as well, several international individuals who came on the show and shared and educated us concerning a lot of the international involvement and a lot of the plans, or what we would call the globalist agenda.
yes, and it's good to sit back and to remember and to realize how much of a force. Yes.
Uh, why I'm laughing. And you and your trips to Africa. And yes, somebody mentioned it. That's why I caught the attention. You and your trips to Africa to help educate us and inform us and enlighten us and bring things like the young people. I can't remember the country it was in Africa who were standing up
Kenya.
against Kenya, against the tyranny of their government and against change in their government. And you were right at the forefront, Marcia, of that with your with your camera. I tell you, what an exciting time and what an exciting place to be here on the
Yes.
Marcia Week Show.
Yeah,
Absolutely exciting.
thanks for reminding me, guys. We need to remember, because even in my school, we do so much, but then I am so focused on working that I don't stop and we need to not do that. The NIS contributions with Strickland to this day, if somebody has an
Yes.
NIS problem, they call us and we connect them with Mr. Strickland and he helps them,
And your visits to Dominica, when you went to Dominica and when you
yes,
went to St. Vincent,
to
all
St.
of them are
Vincent.
educational aspects that help to inform us as to what was happening politically around the Caribbean and what could potentially happen right here in Barbados.
Yes, 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 yeah. So it's good to stop and to remember all of these milestones. And one of the things that Mr. Thorne says, and this I'm just quoting him, he said, I was encouraged to cross the floor because of what this show was doing.
Yes, yes.
I have heard him say that so many times, that he was encouraged to cross the floor because of the opposition because of what the people were doing, the voices of opposition that was happening outside and on this show, right? You remember, Angela, the challenge to NIFCA, and that's coming up again, Angela, and we are asking for your prayers. We have to go to court on Monday. That is still there. That is still there, guys. So in the midst of that, we're still there. Hey, Stephanie Clark, good to hear you. I know we didn't speak. We came and looked for you and prayed for you, and we didn't get to speak since. I'm happy to see that you're on, Stephanie. Happy to see that you're on. Yes.
I vote for Angela to be our scribe.
Yeah, because she's reminding me of things here that there's so much that have been accomplished.
Oh my goodness. She has kept a sterling record of all the things that
that we were able to do.
Yes.
Remember, wow. we were with a digital ID while we pushed back. Dr. Ferdinand, you were on the truck talking to the people about the digital ID. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And we looked into the Guyanese politics. We looked into the impact it would have here. We had people in from Trinidad. You will recall Abdul. I don't recall his entire name, but he was on the show as well, alerting us to some of the things that were happening in Trinidad because of the closeness and relationship, which Miss Kamala Bissessar has indicated her close conrad and friendship with our Prime Minister for years, she said. I saw her comments on Facebook, and it was quite a long extract that she shared concerning the success, congratulations, and all she had to say. So we have had so much happening, so much happening.
Yeah. The Mike on the Move. How can we forget Mike on the Move? Mike on the Move, especially in the last couple of weeks. That Mike was moving. And we were able to expose so many things by your help, because I would not know where to go. You called me and said, sometimes they even come and pick me up. Dr. Ferdinand, get in the car now. Let me take you here. Let me take you there. And there's a trust with them, and that I go with them. And they take me to where I need to go. They give me little hints and let me know what is happening. And we just cannot stop now. We cannot give up now. The more I think about it, Dr. Ferdinand, about the no opposition, and now the PM is saying that the legislation they're getting ready to pass is that no one can cross the floor. This is a time when we need to galvanize, we need to come together, we need to coordinate, we need to come together more than ever, and do it for the country. We need to come together and, contribution to a football team to Canada. Yes, remember those young people.
Yes, absolutely.
The roadside parliaments. The Mike on the Move showed up the government. Yeah.
Wow.
The research. The panelists. Oh my goodness. I need to call out everybody's name, because I didn't plan to go this far on here tonight. But we go by how we're led. So call out the names. Everybody begin to call out the names of all the panelists. So we will start with, let's start with Glenn Murray. He's the youngest.
Yes, Glenn Murray. And then you have Maxine McLean.
Yes.
You have Rose Corbin.
Yes.
We have the Apostle Scantlebury as
I'm
well.
hoping he will join us tonight.
Yes, we have Alwyn Bob.
Yes.
Adrian Hines, who joined us. We also had, goodness gracious, her name slips me, from Guyana,
Yes.
one of the members of Parliament, uh,
Correcto.
Coretta McDonald.
Yes.
Um, we had Abdul from Trinidad,
Trinidad.
and
Yes.
we had one of the senators, Senator. Oh my goodness, the senator from Trinidad.
From Trinidad. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
I repeat, Dave. Naked, Senator Naked from
yes,
Trinidad.
yes. And then we had the ladies. You remember there was a matter we were addressing, and we had, I think, 2 or 3 ladies from Jamaica, attorneys at law. I don't recall their names
Oh
right
yes,
now.
yes, we had some attorneys from Jamaica.
Yes. We had Abraham on 1 or 2 occasions. We also had,
Abraham Millington, yes, he
yeah,
came on
and
a couple
Terry.
of occasions.
We had Terry on a couple of occasions as well.
Who's Terry?
Terry, he is in Canada.
No, he never came.
He never made it on.
No,
Oh
never made
goodness.
it on.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
There's a
Oh my goodness,
gentleman.
what we had those people in Saint Vincent
Yes, and
with
Dominica.
with the backs, yeah, that lawyer.
Yes.
I mean, and all the teachers from St. Vincent. You remember that?
Yes, and that gentleman from Kenya. There was a gentleman on from Kenya as well. Of course,
Yes.
don't ask me to pronounce his name. I would never ever get that done in a million years. We had Donville Innes on. We had Richard Seeley on. We made facility for the government, but they didn't send anybody, so we can't call
Yes, and
of their names.
we used to have Caswell Franklin on. Not sure what's
Yes.
happening with him these days, but we were happy to have him on. Yes.
Yeah, and Taroni. We had Taroni and Dawn.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And
Yeah, we even had Neil Harper on the show twice.
yes, we did.
Uh-huh.
We did, dealing again with this digital ID, cybercrime, and a lot of the compromising of our digital information here in Barbados.
And we had Trisha Watson on.
Yes.
Trisha Watson, former senator. She was on and she did a fantastic job. We had Ralph Thorne on. For real, yeah.
Heather Cole, Heather, we had on.
Heather
Thank
Cole,
you,
yes. Oh my
Patricia.
gosh. Y'all remembering we had Shaquani on?
Yes,
Right,
Shaquani was on. Yes.
When she was, we had Kemar when Kemar came off, but Kemar was on. Ryan Walters. Oh my God, Mr. Knox. Yes, I wonder how he's doing.
Yes, and then from Ghana we had that minister on the LGBTQ.
Yes,
he was on as well. Don't recall his name.
From somebody from Ghana was a sitting minister.
Yes.
Yeah, we had Corey Greenwich on.
The young people from Kenya. There were some young people that came on the show from Kenya as well.
Yeah. Neil Corbin. I don't know who's Neil Corbin.
They might be thinking of Fred Corbin. I think they might be thinking of Fred Corbin. And then you remember that husband and wife team, the name slips me, that were on from the United States. They were, I can't remember the subject. I was hosting the show on a couple of occasions when they came on. I can't remember the subject they were addressing, but it was a husband and wife team.
From where again?
From the U.S. I can't remember. I think it was it Jersey they were on or somewhere like that. Don't recall their names
Black
right now.
Or white?
They were African American.
Oh, okay.
African American, yes. Oh my goodness, there were so many people. Oh, wow.
Paul Messiah. Somebody said the many callers.
Oh yes.
Mr. How can we forget Mr. He called me. Well, our one, the one who is the I have to pause and laugh. I wish he would call in tonight, man. My guy.
And Mr. Gill.
Yes.
Mr. Gill, who ran for this last election here.
I wish he would come back. I didn't hear him throughout the elections. But there is the man who ran, and the elderly man, please forgive me. If he ever hear me saying this, he will be so mad with me right now. Anybody remember his name? He called me the other night quite mad about the election. Victor Young, Victor, don't listen, 'cause you know he don't mince words. He gonna be mad with me. The athlete, Victor Young was so mad. Victor Young said, Marcia, don't do anything more for these pageants. I said, no, Victor, I can't do that. Michelle, oh my God, Michelle.
And then Victor Lewis as well.
Victor Lewis.
Yes.
A lot of the songs, Michelle kept the songs coming. Michelle, I just tell you, we just love you, Michelle, and we
Oh,
appreciate
wow.
you. We appreciate you so much. Yes. Oh, yes. The couple, they were talking about prison reform.
Yes, that's
Yes.
it. Right. And
Yes.
then, of course,
Nigel Newton.
Newton, yes, and not Victor, Mr. Notch. You remember he was talking about the
Yes.
land and this kind of thing. We also had one of the former CEOs of Massey, Randy Banfield.
Yes.
Randy Banfield, he was on a couple of occasions. Sonny Onion.
Yes, Sonny.
Thank you, Dave.
Listen, people will say, Sonny, if I say this, she's not going to be upset. She's
Yes,
like our
and Zico.
Sonny is like our token white, She's like
Yes.
all of us black people, like Sonny is in the middle of us saying, yeah.
Then we had Zico on as well. And
yes.
oh, wow. Sam George from Ghana.
It's just
Mr.
so
Strickland,
many.
Mr. Strickland as well.
Listen,
Oh, wow.
listen, we are such a strong, dynamic group of people. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to those who provide me with my laptop. I don't want to call any names. I know they're on here. Some of
And
you
your microphone too.
my microphone, my every technical thing, whatever. I don't want to say
Yes.
out everything, but they know who they are, and they make sure I look pretty when I come on. All of you, you know who you are. Today, do you know one of them did, and they knew I was so busy in elections. And I don't really do this to myself. They went and gave me a pedicure, manicure today.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm going to
Fantastic.
send the name of their young people, and they did. It was such a beautiful experience.
Well, when I came on this evening, I was thinking to myself, "Oh my goodness, I might need to go and change because Marcia is looking so glowing and all these beautiful colors, and I'm on with a drab green platter. I need to go. I need to go change something of the sort." Yes,
Listen,
Marcia Heinz Meyer. Yes.
I am looking for the name
Oh
of
my
this
my.
place because I don't know. I'm not remembering a lot of things right now, but it was so wonderful. The place that I went to, and I promised those young people that, and I'm looking for it because I made a promise to them. Oh, I had a beautiful time chatting with them while they were massaging my feet and my hands, and I did something here, but I go for natural beauty, and I felt so
I can't show you mine. Oh
Listen,
my God.
I felt so good. Yes. So
Dolores and Carolyn Rock.
yes, call out the names, somebody there. Call out the names as soon as more names come up.
Ronnie Clark, the announcer. April, I think somebody said Apple Blossom Spa. I don't know if that's who you were talking about. Lamumba, and yes, Lamumba and oh dear me, his
Bongo.
colleague. Yes, Bongo. Oh my goodness. It's just been a remarkable time for the short time that I've been on. Yes, Bongo Lights. Thank you, Dave, for the short time that I've had the honor and distinct privilege of sharing with you on the show. It's been such an amazing time. I know I know a lot. I research a lot, but it's been such a tremendous time to sit and listen and take in and learn, the number of different things. I mean, I knew nothing about all the land issues when Mr. Knotts came on. That was an education in the history of Barbados, to know what we have traveled through in terms of our properties and so on. And it's just been amazing, absolutely amazing. And I'm confident, Marcia, that even going forward, because we've had such a very cadre of people, that we are going to be able to keep the citizens of Barbados's attention on the deficits of the government. And I want to be fair, Marcia, because sometimes people think all we do is criticize, and that has not been true. We have on occasions credited the government where they have done well, where they have worked and they have accomplished, but regrettably, much of what they have not done or have attempted to do to undermine the freedoms and well-being of our people has overruled a lot of the good that they have done.
And the truth of the matter is that we have to understand that the traditional media is in such full support of the government.
Yes.
Dr. Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just wonder. I mean, they are in so full support that when we can't take up the citizens' time and the citizens' resources to come on here to praise the government, when we only had one person, in the opposition, in Parliament, and there was a long period of time when there was nobody there. So why would we take up the citizens' time? The citizens they pay for the equipment, they pay for everything, and for us to come on and to be their voice and then to use it to praise the government? No, well, there are times you're going to mention, well, we like this, and I would say I like this particular minister and what they do, but I'm not going to pretend, and I'm not going to take up the citizens' time to do that when they have a whole TV station, the government, they have a radio station, they have their internet, plus the private media houses seem to be, they behave like they're on their payroll. So, Lynette Eastman. How do we forget Lynette Eastman, right? So
That's
Dave's
right.
going to look up the place for me if they've checked the private chat, and it's called Apple Blossom Retreat. The Apple Blossom Retreat. And these young people, the owner of it, they're young, 24-year-olds, Dr. Ferdinand.
Wow, fantastic.
And I am telling you,
Fantastic.
the service, my weakness is young people. I have to say, Glenn Morris says it is the truth. But no, I didn't know. I thought they were working there on behalf of others. It's towards the end. I asked them and they said, no, we own it. Beautiful. The environment, the service that I received there. And I just want to, this is what, and while I was sitting there, I had some tears running from my eyes. Honestly, I had tears sitting there. So the person who did this for me, I want to say thank you. You know who you are. This is located in Christchurch. It's actually Dave, it's close to the Dave, can you can put it in the private chat, Worthing. It's in Worthing. If you're interested, I would say go and support these young people. The service I received there, Dr. Ferdinand, I can't tell you about the price point because I was blessed. And it came at such a good time. And, I told them the next time that I come, because my feet, the way they massage my feet, massaging your feet is very good for circulation. And Dr. Ferdinand, it's not only women that go, especially for your feet. Okay? No, the feet, massaging of the feet. I'm not telling you to go and get a manicure and a pedicure and getting your nails painted, but the feet is very good as you get older in terms of massage. I know Dave is kicking up a fuss when I say that.
But Marcia, our parents knew the value. My mother, the many times I saw my mother soaking her feet in Epsom salts water, and
Yes.
I didn't know what it meant, but I've grown to understand. Even to this day, my wife still does the same thing with a special container that vibrates as well and massages your feet and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
good for
yeah,
circulation, and
yeah.
we won't put up
we
that
won't
comment.
we won't tell the people about that one, Marcia.
Yeah, but really,
Yeah.
I know Dave is kicking up a fuss
Oh
in the
my.
background about that. But I thought that it was, it's important for us to remember.
Yeah.
And we know that some of you are angry. We know some are even discouraged. Some of you are exhausted. We've been on this journey a long time, and some of you are, even quietly questioning whether any of all that we just said mattered. You're wondering to yourself, did it really matter? And I
Well,
want to say
Marcia, I can say it does. It has
it
mattered.
mattered. Yeah.
Yes, it has mattered. And
Yes,
I think
because
in spite of the result that we've seen, I think when we begin to drill down into the statistics, we can see that it did matter.
yes, and it matters because because we stood when there are others who stayed silent. When others who were supposed to engage, they disengaged. We were engaged. And we were witnesses. We showed up as witnesses. Really, we went and we represented the entire Barbados. Those who
That's
were
right.
BLP, DLP. When we went to Washington, we represented
Yes,
everybody.
everybody. We were not there representing any political party. We represented the people of Barbados.
Yeah. And so, if you feel angry, Barbadians, if you feel angry, it's because you care about the country. If you feel discouraged, it's because you had great hopes for Barbados. You wanted more. If you feel tired, you gave your all. I remember CG sitting there and making placards after placards for hours. Guys, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in feeling angry, no shame in feeling discouraged, there's no shame in feeling tired, right? But we cannot allow anger to turn into bitterness. Somebody wrote me today and said, Marcia, I am bitter. Don't let your anger turn into bitterness, right? We can't allow the disappointment either, Dr. Ferdy, to turn into doubt whether this makes sense. We cannot allow the exhaustion that we feel to turn into
That's right.
fatigue.
That's right. And Marcia,
Yes.
I've been through so many of these experiences myself in so many different ways, personally and even in ministry, where things and people, people can be so unkind and people can be so brutal on occasions. And I experienced this in the church of all the places, and I had a lot of emotions, and I was thankful for the Holy Spirit and the word of the Lord that was able to help me manage and balance my emotions. There's a verse that says, "Be angry and sin not, and don't let the sun go down on your wrath." To be angry is a totally natural emotion. To be disappointed and to be depressed, totally natural emotions. But the problem comes when we allow those emotions to dominate us, and when we allow them to determine how we go forward in the future. My mind goes back, Marcia, we were chatting a little earlier, to one of the most successful basketball players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure when I call his name, everybody will know who I'm speaking about. And that would be Michael Jordan. And there is a quote, that he gave that has been a tremendous encouragement for me down through the years. And this was the quote that he shared, Marcia. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've
Mm,
lost almost 300 games." Marcia, that means that he has played 300 times after he has been defeated.
mm-hmm,
He said 26 times I've been trusted to take the game winning shot and missed.
mm-hmm.
I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That has been one of the most influential encouragements in my life. I can tell you
Mhm.
that.
Wow, wow, that is powerful. That is powerful. Somebody said they're here and a food vendor and a little child is singing seats and moving. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes.
And it's the thing about it, Marcia, is as I mentioned earlier, sometimes the Bible tells me that Jesus was in all points tested such as we are. I know
Mm-hmm.
it goes on to say yet without sin. I get that. But he went through every single emotion that you could possibly have.
Yes,
And yet he conquered every single one of them. And
yes.
because he did all of that, he is
Mm-hmm.
able now, by the power of the Holy Spirit, the scripture tells us, to comfort us when we are going through our challenges and our infirmities and difficulties. And you know why, Marcia? Because
Yes,
somewhere along the line in the future, we are going to encounter someone going through what we are going through, and they're going to need that word of encouragement. And we can not only tell them that from a theoretical perspective, we can tell them realistically, yes, I went through that, but God brought me through, but I was able to overcome. But, and that word is used a lot in scripture, Marcia.
mm-hmm.
Overcome. It means that you're confronting something that could potentially devastate your life, but you've overcome it. And and
Yes.
and the Apostle Paul puts it this way. He says in Romans chapter 8, I think it is, he says that in all these things, we are more than conquerors. He went through so many depressive conditions, Marcia. How many people turned against him? They even tried to kill him. I don't know anybody tried to kill Mr. Thorne as yet. I don't know of that, but they tried to kill Paul. They let him they let him down. They wanted to abandon him. They put him into chains. They beat him. All of these things he went through. Could you imagine trying to carry a positive, life-saving message to people, and that you go through these things, and people are saying to you, well, the Lord is with you, and yet you're enduring all of these things. Could you imagine what he must have felt?
Mm-hmm.
And all of us will be faced with times like these. Many of us probably have already been faced with times like these, but we are here today. Think about it. We are here. And some time ago I saw this caption: where there's life, there's hope. But then somebody gave the reverse and said, no, where there's hope, there's life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so encouraging to me today, that no matter what the result has been, there's hope. And wherever there's hope, there's life.
Yes, yes. And somebody says here, we can't have day without night.
Yes.
And folks, I mean, these. I don't know if you can see some of these comments,
Oh, yes.
and to put them up. But while you can put them up, while I just continue to say
Yes.
to everybody that what we must remember is that movements, you can't build it on in one election, right? Movements are built on consistency, right? Movements are built out of maturity, and you can't be consistent if you're not mature, right? And that is important. We can't, we are here today and we're not there tomorrow. And that's why it was important yesterday, Dr. Ferdinand, even though it was a Thursday and I wasn't due to come on, it was important for me to get myself dressed and sit here in this chair, right? We've got to be mature. Out of maturity come consistency. And these results will not end. It's not the end of anything. This was part of a process. We are part of a process, guys. If we love Barbados, we have to keep going. Some of you are questioning yourself. You're questioning whether you could have done more. You're questioning your contribution. You're questioning even your ability. Your voice, was it loud enough? Could you have done more? I want to say to every single one of you, you are valuable. every candidate from every opposition party. You were valuable, you were necessary. Everyone who logged on, every time you shared, you were necessary. You made a difference. You did. Every time you came to the marches and you gave me $2. One of the boy I remember gave me $1. I think it was $1.50 or 90 cents, something like that. You made a difference. History does not shift overnight. Does not. History is going to shift because we refuse to stop. When we refuse to stop, history shifts. So I want to say to everybody, and I've been doing this, I'm telling you what I've been doing. Take some rest. Rest. When you need to sleep, sleep. You're going to rest, sit down and you reflect like what we did tonight. We're doing this as a family. We refine what we're doing. We're going to have some meetings. We're going to come together because we don't have anybody inside there. We're not the parliamentary opposition, but we are the people. And so we're going to come together. You know, we've had a dinner where we came together in December, and we said that we were going to try to come together early in the year, if you remember that. We got called into the elections and we ran right into that. But I say that let's come together, right?
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely.
come together again, right? We return, and we will return stronger, wiser, more strategic.
That's
we are
right.
not defeated. We are developing, guys, right? And like anything else, you know, development takes time. You want a good cake? Don't rush it. Don't take a box cake and just throw it in there and 3 eggs. It's gonna take some time to get a good cake, right? So hold your head up, everybody. You did honorable work. We move forward together, and that's what sitting there and today and being taken care of. What I said to myself, gotta get going. You have to move. Yeah, you have to remove. Yeah, we celebrated birthdays. Yes. So, listen, Angela, you know everything.
You know, Marcia, while you were talking about that, you know what went through my mind? Our West Indies cricket team.
Ah.
Do you know how many times we were whitewashed? You know how many times we lost cricket series 5-love, 3-love, 4-love, but we kept going and going and going. And that is why we developed some of the greatest cricketers in the world, Marcia,
Yes.
that other countries patterned their cricketers off of.
Yes.
I think of people like Desmond Haynes, Gordon Greenwich, Alvin Kalicharan, Garfield Sobers. I think of people like Lance Gibbs, and people like, oh my goodness, Andy Roberts, and
Yes.
the quartet of the fast bowlers that were so good that all of a sudden Australia started to develop their fast bowlers, and South Africa. But it took a lot of our failing to come to the place where today, in spite of where we are today, Marcia, the West Indies is considered to be one of the greatest test cricket nations in the world.
Yes.
How many times did we lose? But how many times did we bounce back and win?
Yes, we listen, we are a powerful set of people, and you know, the thing is, most of us, we don't even know each other well, but we have one thing in common.
Our
We
country.
got one thing in common.
Our country. I pledge allegiance to my country and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor, and by my living to do credit to my nation wherever I go. You know, Marcia, one of the proudest things that Julie and I went through over the past couple of months is that as we traveled into Colombia, we had to go via Panama into Colombia, come back out into the United States and come home. Every time I had my pin, my Barbados pin on my jacket epaulette. And everybody would stop and say, "You're from Barbados. That's Rihanna's country." You know, and I was so proud. And I sometimes in Colombia, people saw us and thought that because we were Negroes, we were automatically from the United States, and we would say, no, 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 we're from Barbados, and they didn't know where we were, and we had the chance to introduce them to the country and tell them about the country, and they were like, wow, it was amazing, and I felt so proud of my country and
Yes,
my flag,
yes,
so proud,
yes,
so
yes, yes.
proud.
I want to address this person who says, why aren't you not mentioned in the confusion of the voters list? The
We'll
election was
get to that.
stolen, Marcia and Fernand. And we know the funny thing about this is what I want to say to us. I
Mm.
want to say this to us that, folks, you've got to stop sometimes and smell the roses. We've got
Yes,
to stop
yes.
sometimes because I might have gone ahead and I'm good. But there are so many. I have 80-year-old people calling, viewers calling me today and said, Marcia, I am so down. And so we can't pretend. That's the thing about us, Dr. Ferdinand. We're not into pretense. And we love our people. We're not going to be dragging people, hurting people. We're going to, guess what? We're going to work together. We're going to, get each other up and going again and encourage each other. And we are going to get to that. And we dealt with some of that last night.
Yes, you did. I
We're going,
watched the show last night, and you did
yeah,
deal with some of
we're
it.
going to transition
Oh, yeah.
into that now. It's 8:02,
But
but
before
sometimes
before you do, you just made a comment. You might wonder why I'm laughing. You just said sometimes we need to smell the roses, and immediately I remembered the movie Ferdinand the Bull. And in the midst of all he was going through, all of the abuse and everything, one of his most enjoyable experiences was to smell the roses. You must watch the movie sometime. It's an animation. It's absolutely hilarious.
wonderful,
Oh
wonderful.
yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
for that. And I thank you for
Oh,
Dr. Ferdinand for sharing this platform with me and for taking Mondays so that I could just not be on. I might be doing stuff in the background, but not being on is good. Sometimes I feel overexposed.
but I
So
but I'll tell you why while I enjoy it, it's just nothing like having you on the show with me.
I know you tell me that all the time. You want me to be on with you, but the objective is
Ah,
that I'm
dear
not
me.
that exposed.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I want to say to everybody who see us, Dr. Ferdinand, and say, come up, and they touch her hand, and I want to say thank you.
Yes,
I want
absolutely.
to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my husband, which I do it all the time, but I don't take it for granted. And I have somebody who they don't see him on screen, but he's very present. And he is such a source of encouragement. We pray together before we come on the show, and he provides a lot of insight and encouragement. And I just want to say, Dave, God bless you, and thank you for being who you are. I really, I can't thank everybody and not mention him.
Yes, and if I may add, I want to thank my wife as well for the support that she is. She
Yes.
comes into the area and we're into our room where my facility is, and she encourages me. But I also want to thank my grandchildren because for 3 hours, whenever I'm on, they have to keep quiet in the background. They can't play their video games and talk too loud. My granddaughter, she wants to ride on her ski, what do you call these, roller skates and so on, and she can't do it for the 3 hours that I'm on. So I want to say thank you to them as well. They're a wonderful group of young people, a tremendous group of young
Yes,
people.
yes, yes. The families, all the families, um,
Yes,
and
yes.
when and all everybody who meet us on the street,
Oh
um,
wow, oh
and the
wow.
last thing I say in this sentimental thing before we go into, I know Cami wants us to get into the issues. Yes, but it's
Uh,
important that we do this.
I
Um,
believe so. I believe so.
I was somewhere today. Dave and I went out today, and I was waiting for him in the car, and a gentleman, an older gentleman, if he's watching, I don't even know his name. He called me over to the car, and I went to him. He's an older man. Out of respect, I went to him, And he said to me, Marcia, you can't give up. He pointed at me, and I looked at him, and he said a couple more things. I wouldn't go into it. And so I want to thank all those who do that when they see myself, Dr. Ferdinand, Maxine McLean, when you see Glenn Marie or anybody that you see, when you see Victor Lewis, when you see Mr. Strickland, when you see Alwyn Bob, when you see everybody, I want to say thank you for that. There's so many of you are watching that you're not on here right now, but you watch it after it's finished, after we're done. And that's an encouragement. And I want you to understand that we are here for all Barbadians. There are families who came on here, people came on here cursing us, and from the BLP, and later messaged me. They have BLP families that needed help, and we provided stove and fridge for them right on this program here. This is for all of Barbadians. All of
Yes.
Barbadians.
Yes. And what a privilege and an honor it is for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's who we are. And as we go into this new era where the people's voice, based on what the Prime Minister says, nobody can cross. It then is going to be all of us. And that's why we say the people must rise. And so we have to open up our arms and welcome all the influencers. Anybody who is speaking truth to power, you are part of us and we are part of you. We don't care how you voted. Do you understand that? We don't care how you voted. We don't care if you praised the government before. That's not the point, because we are not representative of any one political party. We are representing Barbados. So this morning I heard that Admiral Nelson was talking about the voters who were left off the voters list. I heard that. Somebody said, Marcia, would you believe Admiral Nelson? Is that person correct? Did anybody hear Admiral Nelson? I told the person, send a link for me or send me a thing, because I don't listen to CBC. But can somebody tell me if they heard Admiral Nelson? If I'm wrong, then I take back the compliment. Can somebody tell me, please? And if Admiral Nelson has done that, I want to say to you, sir, thank you on behalf of the people of Barbados. There are people right now, they've called me Mr. Admiral Nelson, and they're hurting, they're angry that they did not get to cast their vote. They're frustrated. And I want to say to you, we have never met in these kinds of circles. But I want to say to you, Admiral Nelson, if you did that, we need more of that. We need more of announcers in traditional media to speak truth to power. How are we going to get through these next 5 years if you don't do that?
If it's 5 years. If it's 5 years.
Whatever. I'm doing I'm saying the 5 years. Stephanie Chase, you have a lot of people on your podcast, on your social media. All of you, Dunksman, all of you. Barbados needs you right now. Barbados, this is not a time to be clapping everything the government says. It's a time to open your mouth on behalf of people. If you see people are victimized, speak up. They need you.
Correct. We must speak truth to power. We must.
Yeah. Because right now, folks, right? I don't care if she's part of the Mia scandal machine. I am calling her to a greater purpose right now. And I know her, and I know she can do it. Every Barbadian needs to jump on this right now and become the voice of opposition in this country. How are we going to get through? How are we going to get through? What if they go in and they start to they pass the cybercrime bill, they proclaim it? What is going to happen to everybody? Listen, we are one Barbados, and we need to fight as one. Stand up, be a voice for the voiceless. I saw David Davidson doing that. When people said, oh, he would never, I saw him doing that. What about the white guy? Oh my goodness, I said white guy. I shouldn't have. John, what's his name? Mr. John Rowett.
Oh, John.
Rowett.
John, yeah, Marcia, John and I went to music lessons together, you know. We went to music lessons with Mrs. Burke when she was at the St. Ambrose Vicarage, where we were learning to play the piano. I am so proud of John. Absolutely proud of John.
He did a fabulous job.
Fantastic, yes.
He did a fabulous job. Put their names there, guys. What about Trisha Watson?
Yes.
Trisha Watson, if you're listening to me right now,
wrote
you
a
probably
brilliant
don't watch
article.
the show anymore. But if you're listening, we need your voice now more than ever, Trisha Watson. John Rowett, don't stop. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name properly.
No, John Rowett. He's fine. He's fine. He wouldn't mind.
Yeah?
He wouldn't mind. John, fantastic.
Dunksman, we need your voice. We need to remember, guys, we're not against Barbadians. We're not against Barbadians. We are one Barbados. And we must speak with one voice. So if Admiral Nelson is saying, the person who sent me that message on Admiral Nelson, can you resend it, please? Did anybody hear what Admiral Nelson is saying? Because I'm going to use that to segue into something very important, Doctor. Go ahead, Dr. Ferdinand, while I try to find this information.
No, I was absolutely thrilled with John's input. He was brilliant. He was on point. He was accurate in every single thing he said. And there were several others on my Facebook page that were absolutely accurate in what they expressed. And I must say that, you know, I'm encouraged to know that there's so many people that are here with their voices to stand up when it comes to matters of truth. I'm disappointed in the context of the fact that many persons who are in the administration today don't have the intestinal fortitude to speak truth to power, because they're afraid of losing either their seat, their pension, or whatever it is. I can't say that anybody's being paid off. I don't know. I don't have any evidence where that is concerned. But certainly when one considers how the world operates in this day and age, it would be of no doubt to me that persons are being paid to maintain certain positions. And I can't say who is doing it, but I firmly believe in my heart that it is being done. And when I consider that our Prime Minister is one of the major proponents of the 2030 agenda, and when one considers that that agenda is a global elitist agenda, and she is right up in there with those people who want to promote 15-minute cities and digital IDs and control of your spending and what you spend on and where you can spend. People think this is a joke, but I can tell you that from the research I have done, people from Davos, you know, I wouldn't want to speak in Davos, but we find our Prime Minister up in the face of these people in Davos. Davos, to my mind, is a group of some of the most wicked elitists who have not been elected to office and who are determining political, economic, and financial futures for the whole world. And we are buying into it through our administration. And we must watch what is going to be happening over the next 5 years. because there is a 2030 agenda. I can talk to you about that whenever the time comes. I can talk to you about the dangers of that 2030 agenda, especially as it relates to the whole matters of the implementation of the digital ID and the central bank digital currency. These are not things that are just being talked about for the sake of talking about them, but they're control mechanisms that governments are implementing around the world to control their people and to ensure that voices that are raised against them are silenced. They did it during the pandemic. It was done through algorithms on Facebook where many of our videos that we did were taken down. And Marcia, you have experienced a lot on YouTube where much of what you have said has been taken down, and we've been threatened. All of these are the things that have been happening. And this is the type of future that we can anticipate with this administration in office, because they're buying into every single thing that those global elitists are selling.
Yes, 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 very much so. And I'm so happy that you put that in context, because I tell you, we're going to have to band together. And that's why I say, if we begin to fight beyond party lines, that is the best thing for Barbados. We are going to reach out to everybody, anybody. We're going to big up anybody on the show that you're standing up for the citizens of Barbados. Yep. We're going to big you up. If you're standing up for the government, we don't need to do that, because there's no opposition. They have all of the seats. So the people, we are going to celebrate you as our heroes when you stand up on behalf of the people of Barbados. And we're not here opposing for opposing's sake. The thing is this, that it is very important that that we stand to defend. Who is there to defend the people? Who is there? That's why the people must rise. As Angela is saying, and still we rise.
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. So now I hear a lot of people saying, with so many persons that have been disenfranchised by the voting, by the voters list not being complete. And what I was told, I heard that Mr. Nelson or whoever it is was on radio, because nobody's able to confirm it, and I can't find it in my phone. They're saying that the CARICOM needs to address this issue, right? CARICOM, CARICOM is saying, the CARICOM, observers, they're saying that this is something that they're going to look into it. They cannot, what they're saying is that it is not in their, I guess they can't disturb the elections itself. But that this is something that they are going to look into, they claim. Right? And so we need to hold CARICOM to that, which, I mean, that it might be flogging a dead horse there, because I think, I'm not sure if they're going to truly want to investigate that, because will they want to show up? I don't know. CARICOM is saying that the reports of the missing voters' names and the public frustration, that they recognize that, and that they're going to look into that. But I want to say that as we wait on that, what can we do as a people? What can we do? People are saying that we should march. Now, if we march, it's not a march for them to. At this stage, we can't march for them to annul the elections, but we need to march to keep the issue alive, and ask for the EBC to give some transparency on that. Dr. Ferdinand, what are your thoughts on that? People are calling and asking us to march. I want to hear from the viewers as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely, Marcia. We have never wasted a march. We have never wasted a march. We marched for very critically important matters, including the matter with the announcer, Ronnie Clark. I think I have his name right. You know, all of the cybercrime bill, everything that we marched for was purposeful, it was truthful, and we shared facts. And you know, I'm one that believes that I don't look at the number of people. People are always looking at numbers, but you know, when they did the atomic bomb, Marcia, they didn't get a whole lot of molecules or atoms. You know, they got what was called
Mhm.
critical mass of atoms that made one of the most destructive weapons the world has ever seen. So I'm not looking to say that we have the largest group of people marching or anything of that. To my mind, it is the influence and impact that you can have, which is more important than just simply the numbers. And may I remind people, Marcia, it was the Prime Minister who marched in 2018 and said that we must stand up and never allow our voices to be silenced. She was the person who propagated what we are demonstrating tonight. And you can't say one thing out of one side of your mouth and say something else out of the other. In our environment, we call that hypocritical. That's what we call it. And
Yeah.
so we are fulfilling what advice she has given to the Barbadian public to perform.
Yeah. And you know, as we if we are to march, you know, I believe in moving forward, you know, in the sense that we need to be able to ask for in our march and our protest is really concerning the EBC. We want some practical reforms, and there are a couple
Yes.
of things that I want us to discuss here on the show right now. And one of the reform that I believe that we need to ask for is continuous voter registration. And
Yes.
by that we mean we're not waiting, you know, we're not there waiting till the next election, right? We're not waiting on election for you to be updating the voters list, but there should be continuous updating where it's automatic when somebody turns 18. This is something that we need to protest on. When someone becomes 18, you should automatically be put onto the voters list. It should an automatic update, because the voters list is connected to the other, you know, registration of births, registration of deaths, right? When someone changes address, there should be an automatic update. What are your thoughts about that? Let me hear the viewers. When someone is deceased, that it should be automatic. And I think that those are some of the things that we can march for. This election is come and gone, but we need to be a watchdog over the EBC. And if they have a law on the books or some rule that says that it's not an automatic addition to the voters list when you turn 18, that's something we need to advocate for. We need to advocate for that. Continuous, not periodic updating, but continuous updating, right? And so what this will do, the last minute chaos that we had, giving you 2 weeks to complete it and all of that, that needs to be done away with. Done away with. Let me hear your thoughts, guys, before we move on the automatic updating.
You know, Marcia, we have so much technology available to us today that there is no reason that we should have found ourselves in the predicament that we found ourselves in this general election. One of the responsibilities of the commission of the EBC is update and maintain the voters list. But it would appear that the only time that, and I'm saying it would appear, that the only time that seems to occur is when elections are called, when in truth and in fact that should be done on an ongoing basis. That is why they're there. That is why they are, well, I think that is why they're paid. that is why they are in place. They're supposed to update and maintain the voters list, publish revised lists before elections, and not 2 weeks. That is something that should be going on annually. And we have the right, Marcia, to go and request that list.
Correct.
We have
We
the
do.
right to do
But
that.
let me pause said don't march no more. No, that's a wrong idea.
No,
Lana
no.
Robinson, no way, absolutely not. We're not a church. We're not a church, right?
And not only
So
that, faith without works is dead. So if you're going to pray, put feet to your faith.
Yeah, no, we're not. No, that's not correct. We're not. You've got to pray. You've got to work. The protests, marches, all those bills that are backed up. How do you think they're backed up? When we march Saturday, and by Saturday evening, the Prime Minister is holding a press conference, and you're going to tell us not to march? No, that's back. We're going backwards. We can do all of those things together, Lana. We just said earlier we're going to have our meeting. We're going to have a big meeting. We're going to come together. We have indoor meetings. We are having prayer meetings every 3 mornings a week, and we're going to march. Can you imagine if we stop marching now? The message that is sending? No, that's a wrong comment right there. I don't agree with it, right? I don't agree with it at all, right? I think that somebody here is saying continuous updating of the voters list, right? And that is important. The other thing that we need to march and protest for is fixed dates for an election. We need to, as citizens, we need to make that a huge priority.
Yes,
Nina,
absolutely.
come to the front of the class. And if we're going out there, these are things that our placards need to say. We are not going to go back in to tell them, oh, we want the election annulled and anything. We're moving on. But our people, our citizens, were denied the right to vote. And it should not happen again in this country. Right. Election every 5 years.
Yeah, but we need to not only lobby for that, Marcia, that needs to be enshrined in the Constitution as a fixed date, just like the United States has a fixed date for the presidential election.
That's what they're asking for.
Absolutely. Fixed dates. That way you can't just up and call an election on your whim and fancy.
Yeah. So what we can either sit down and we can complain, which is another thing. And because or we can just say we're praying and we are not running a church. Right? We're not running a church. Do you understand? Why don't you go ahead and get the churches to pray without ceasing?
Come
on, guys, let's be practical here. We're going to pray. Thank you for that. But we're not going to only pray. We're going to have our indoor meetings and we're going to have protests. We're going to write letters too. We're going to do petitions too.
And we need to turn up at the government's constituency meetings and challenge them. We need to turn up. Don't be afraid. I realize that at every one of those constituency meetings, the Prime Minister turns up because she's an intimidating kind of person. And people are afraid to go because they're afraid to be talked down to or ridiculed by her. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If she turns up, go confront her on matters. She is your employee. We must never forget that. The government is employed by the people of Barbados. We are not under their jurisdiction. They're under ours. We employ them.
Yeah. Listen, fixed dates for election. Right. That should be a priority. Yes. And not about who crossed the floor.
No.
You understand? fixed dates or election. You should be going into in there now, dealing with this the voters list and the voter registration and a whole lot of dead
Yes.
people and all of that. That's
Amending
what
the Constitution for that.
those are things that need to be addressed. And so on. And I think if we're going to go on the streets, that is, we need to be forward thinking, right? That is where we need to go, because right now, if somebody dies, what is the process? Who gets that information, Dr. Ferdinand?
Well, that information, from what I'm seeing, someone made a comment here this tonight. That information is supposed to be now under the responsibility of the EBC, because once those death certificates are issued or confirmed, that is information that should fall under the purview of the
I
EBC,
know,
so
but
they can
before you
control
even
that.
get to the EBC, what I'm saying is, so God forbid you have a death at your home. The death is reported. The hospital first gets the information, right?
Yes, that's correct. Well, I think the hospital or the police, I can't remember, but
Right. Under
both
the
of them.
police, the hospital, and
Yes.
then who issues the death certificate?
As far as I'm aware, it would have to be the doctor or the person is doing the what they call the autopsy. They're the people who should issue the death certificate, as far as I'm aware, and
Right. If
then that
anybody
must be
knows, I don't
taken.
know the process. So what I'm saying is this: that everything needs to be connected. And listen, this is the first we've had all of these issues, so there must have been some connection before, right?
But there are connections even with the marriage certificates, Marcia, which would be along the same routes. When we perform marriages, we provide the married couple with a certificate, which they take to the registration office in Bridgetown and
Right. That's
log.
what I'm looking for. So the
Yes, they
registration
log it. The registration
department.
office
Thank
at the
you.
Supreme Court.
Right. So the registration department, births
Yes,
and deaths, right?
yes,
Births and deaths. Thank you, Guava. Births and deaths, registration department. And they need to be able to pass that information on in a timely manner to EBC.
correct. Correct.
You understand? That needs to be passed on to the EBC. And these are things that, as citizens, we're educated people, that we need to lobby for this. There is no reason somebody who's dead 20 years ago is still on the death certificate. And we don't need to be digitized to get that.
No, no, that is a simple case. That is a very simple case, Marcia.
Yes. And VO is saying, who are the people who are no longer living in Barbados? I think they say for 5 years or whatever the years might be. And so once again, those are things that might be through immigration. They look at all of that. And when you have that fixed date and you're continuously updating, and we in doing this, it's not a case here where you have to have the Trident ID in order to do it. You don't have to have Trident ID. You don't have to have a digital ID in order to get this done. Somebody what kind of country pushing beyond above your weight, and you have this person's dead husband got a notice to vote, their aunt's dead husband.
But Marcia, I know people who receive a notice to vote whose spouse has been dead for 15 years. I mean, not last year or year before, 15 years ago. How could they be receiving a circular?
All of that, and so these are things to me that we need to think. We need to go forward, right? We need to go forward in our thinking and seeing what can be done. We are not lawyers. If what I say about going to the law courts about this, you need to have standing, right? You need to have been one of those who did not vote. You did not get to vote, and then you contact a lawyer. Right? It has to go through the courts. That we can march for that. for you to be remedied, we can we can march and bring awareness and keep it alive. But really, you got to go into...
It's a matter that has to go to the High Court.
Yes, because I saw a Jamaican person, I'm glad you put it there, that they were here less than 2 years and they got their ID and they were on the voters list, and they said they never registered. They said they never registered, but they were put on the voters list. And these are things that we need to ask the EBC. The EBC should be able to tell us, how many non-nationals did you register to vote for this election? Give us a breakdown of how many non-nationals did you register in the last 3 to 4 years in Barbados?
But Marcy, do you remember a case? I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2022. I think it was 2018, where some CARICOM nationals were working here for a period of time, and they actually were denied the right to vote here in Barbados, and as a result, they brought a combined case against the I can't remember if it was the EBC or the government, but I believe they won it. So maybe someone can help us with that.
Yes, these are the non-nationals. This was in 2018.
2018.
And, yes, Michelle Russell and other lawyers were part of it.
Yes, right.
Jamaican lawyers actually, and they won the case and they were allowed to vote. And I'm saying that we need to put pressure on the EBC. The EBC. We need to ask there are lots of questions to ask the EBC, because the EBC, it is being alleged that they were meeting without the Democratic Labour Party members.
Ma'am, I can say that it's no longer alleged. I spoke with one of the Democratic Labour Party members on the committee, and he confirmed they were meeting without their presence.
Yeah. Exactly. Keep this comment, Miss Electronic. Keep this on here. We're going to talk about that, because that's a powerful comment she's making there. But I just wanna say that this issue with the non-nationals that are bragging on Facebook that, well, I got to vote and I didn't even register. I never went to the EBC. I just got a letter. What is with that EBC? And why didn't they have meetings, as Dr. Ferdinand is saying? I'm saying alleged. Why were there no meetings held until I think it was a day or two before elections?
And there were meetings that were scheduled and then canceled.
Exactly. What is that all about? If the EBC, if you're those that the commission, the EBC commission is made up of 5 persons, 3 from the government and 2 from the DLP, why were you meeting without them? Is that true? All these things, when we march and when we tell the media why we're marching, all of these things need to come out. The EBC need to talk to the people.
And you know, Marcia, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Shirley Botchway, I think is how you pronounce her name, she gave glowing remarks concerning the general election here in Barbados, and not a mention. Well, I shouldn't say not a mention. She mentioned just a few people. I spoke with people who were in polling stations as polling agents in certain constituencies who told me there were 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 or more people that came to vote and could not vote because they were carrying a circular saying they were to vote there, but their name was not on the list. This is not 5 or 6 people. In St. Joseph.
In St. Joseph, I heard about it in St. Philip North and St. Philip West.
Yes.
What about those Barbadians who did not get to exercise their right to vote? This is 2 years in a row that this has happened under this government. 2 years. And one has to ask the question, who does it benefit?
Their comment, Marcia, or this lady's comment is a small number of voters regrettably were unable to find their names and therefore could not vote. A small number. We're talking thousands of people. A small number is 20 or 30 or a couple of hundred. We're talking about thousands of people who went to vote in one area. I'm sorry. Okay. This is a circular I received. This is a circular I received showing me where to go and vote on the back of this circular. No, it's a party circular, but it's giving me the information. And I remember.
But before you say that, before you say that, it's very important that we also say that the EBC, my circular,
I was about to say that the circular came from EBC. Marcia, it happened in St. Thomas. And the representative for St. Thomas sent out information to tell the people that the polling station in a particular area was removed and sent to somewhere else. It did not come from the EBC. It came from the person who was running for the Barbados Civil Party of that constituency.
Wow.
What is he doing sending out that information and not the Electoral Boundaries Commission? That is an irregularity. And because it is an irregularity, it suggests to us that something is amiss. And if it was just 5 or 6 people or 20 people, I can understand. But Marcia, we're talking thousands of people.
Well, I mean, they disenfranchised thousands for COVID, during COVID. And I'm saying that we are marching for administrative changes at the EBC. We are marching. If we go up there to march, we are marching for fixed date for elections.
Correct.
Let the people, we are going to create our own, we're going to do a petition for it. Okay? Fixed date. And we want these administrative changes to happen. Why is it that every voter should be able to check their polling station online?
But Marcia, there were people who did and who went to their polling station as they were registered online to find their name was not on the list.
But the thing about it, you're so correct, Dr. Ferdinand, because there were people who they didn't just check online, but they had a hard copy letter, because when people were calling me, I'm saying I can't just believe anybody who calls me. But when they sent me the letter, I could see it, right? But if you have the continuous updating, right, and then you have digital opportunity to self-verify, you can self-verify digitally, right? So you can confirm your name is on the correct list, right? Make sure that you are not that you are at the right polling station is where you live, right? And that they send you an email. They send you some kind of email of confirmation, something, and that can be done months before. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That could give, instead of giving people 2 weeks or 3 weeks, months before, they should be settled and ready. You understand? The provisional list. They gave the list, the provisional list, as far as, let me try to remember, if any candidates out there can remember when the provisional list was published. Can anybody tell me when the provisional list? So I'm seeing here that the Electoral Commission, according to the AG, is going to take over the birth and death registrations. Well, that is good if that's going to happen. But in addition to that, we want to encourage them and to make sure that happens. They said by February 19th. We want to ensure that happens. If that is so, I'm seeing someone at CG sent me that. And we commend them for that. The thing is a follow through. So we are here for the follow through. Right? Can anybody tell me when the provisional list was, that preliminary list? Yes, the preliminary list. And you see, that's why you're right. We get a voters list of 271,000 people, and the population is 283,000. And Lemuel, someone pointed out to me that the last census was really not 283,000, that it was 260 something thousand. So are we saying that the voters list was more than the actual population? And as you said, Lemuel, what about the children under 18? So you can't come with a fraudulent with a list that is, let me not use the word fraudulent, but a list that is not correct, an incorrect list.
Well, Marcia, if you were to take into consideration, and I've seen several commentators and people who are in the know with this matter, approximately 20% of the Barbadian population is below the age of 18. If you were to take 271,000 people, 271,205, and you were to take 20% off of that, you could be looking at around 225,000 people on the voters list. If you have 271,205 people on the voters list, you would be talking of a population of around 330,000 people. There are people who did these calculations for me quickly. Some 330,000. We are told by the last census, I think 2025, 2026, that there were around 282, 285,000 people living in Barbados. How can you possibly have a voters list of 271,205? That is mathematically impossible. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist. I don't want to hear any pathetic excuses from the Prime Minister to do with this. That's a reality. And it's an anomaly. And if it has happened, it should be looked into to find out where was the ball dropped and by who. Because somewhere along the line, somebody dropped the ball when it came to these statistical figures as it relates to the EBC. And the people are not being critical of the EBC because they don't like them or they don't like the people that are in there. We are not that naive and that immature. But when you have all these people, and it's not one or two, all these people in every single constituency having problems with where they're to vote. And some of them, Marcia, have come off of work. They've gone to the polling station. They have stood in line because the regulations say that if you're in the line and 6 o'clock comes, you are still allowed to vote. Could you imagine then getting to the top of the line to find out your name is not on the list in that particular box?
Right.
You have no alternative. You can't get to the next box or any other box to cast your vote.
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone make a comment here as well tonight, Marcia, about the people who were operating inside of the polling station with cell phones. I had to surrender my cell phone when I went into the polling station. What are polling agents doing with cell phones inside of the polling stations?
Mm-hmm. I saw them with cell phones as well.
That should not be allowed. Who are you communicating with? There are police outside. If you want to communicate, send the police a message and let the police deliver that message. All of these are anomalies.
Well, what we need to do, Dr. Ferdinand, you make a note of that, and I have some people on here. Ramim, help us to make a note of everything. So I have some people on here who would do it.
Lovely.
Okay. But I love my people. Somebody's saying that the EBC, which we will do a show on this, guys, but the EBC should really, the more you think about it, and I thank you for raising that, because I only saw it by somebody sending it to me, and I repeated it. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I'm so glad that somebody brought this to my attention, and that's why this show is so beautiful. That now, the EBC, the recommendation by the AG is that the EBC would be that government agency that take over the birth and death registrations, right? And the idea, I think, is that they're saying that it would ensure that the voters list is updated, in real time. And they're centralizing accountability in that one place. But really and truly, though, do we want that body that administers elections shouldn't be independent from the body that's recording the number of deaths, or who is dead, ensuring who is dead and who is alive? Because there needs to be some independence there when you think about it, Dr. Ferdinand. Because
Well,
if it controls both the birth and the death,
Marcia,
it becomes with 1 second, it becomes
no, go ahead.
the source of the data, and basically the manager of the outcome, if you really think about it. So the EBC then would become the source of the data. And I think that's what the viewers are having a problem with, right? And so there needs to be some institutional separation between those who are who register births and deaths and the EBC. Go ahead, Dr. Ferdinand.
Marcia, I'm going to just show you how ridiculous this is. Any supermarket has technology that every single item sold at the cashier's counter is deducted from their stock automatically, so that they know what they have to order by going into their records and seeing what was sold compared to what was stocked, and what the difference is, and when to order and how to order. Goodness gracious me, Marcia, that is for groceries. You mean to tell me that the Barbados government cannot or does not have a technology, which I believe they do have a technology, if my mind served me correctly in a discussion with someone I had recently, that they do not have the technology to coordinate and to streamline information that is registered at the registration office at the Supreme Court, with the EBC, with the license, with the Barbados Revenue Authority, who now handle licensing and all those kind of things. Are we serious about this? And we're talking about moving into the 21st century? And you can find that in a supermarket, Marcia, for groceries, but you can't find it in the Electoral and Boundaries Commission in the government for something as critically important as an electoral list.
But Dr. Ferdinand, look at the screen, and this is what a lawyer had told me about this. But it's so much I didn't get to research it. Thank you, Adrian. That Adrian is one of our presenters here on the show. Adrian, we thank you for your work. We were thanking you earlier. I don't know if you had joined at that time. And but look, this is what I'm saying. In the 2021 census, which as far as I know is the last census, says that we have over 269,000 people. Now, if that is so, that means our voters list was more than the population of Barbados. Let's just pause and let that sink in. Because a lawyer pointed out to me, Dr. Ferdinand, that everybody, can you verify if Adrian is correct? And because you're helping us to research tonight, we want to be telling the truth on the show, okay? And I was corrected by a lawyer while I was on the show saying over 280,000. And you know.
What I'm seeing, Marcia, online is that as of early 2026, the Barbados has a population of about 282,700 people.
Yeah, when was that? When can you look at? Can somebody search?
Let me see when that was.
The 2021 census. Somebody electronic crazy said, saying Miss Electronic Crazy. While we're double checking on that, she's actually verifying that Adrian is correct. Let me say something here. This woman said something. I don't know if it's a woman or man, but very interesting. Why aren't they still paying dead people pensions? Why isn't the government still paying dead people pensions? Elderly people who died and gone home, God rest their souls. Do the government make the mistake that all 20 years later they're still paying them pensions? No, they don't. So why can't they update the list, the EBC list? You see what I'm saying? That we do not need, this is not calling for digital IDs. We don't need that.
I'm seeing online, Marcia, that census began on the 2nd of August 2021 and continued into September 2022.
Yes, yes. So right, so that's why they
And
call it
of the
2021.
1st of August, according to the official BSS figures, the total resident population recorded on Census Day, 1st of August 2021, was about 269,090.
Yeah, and there has not been any census since,
They
has
say
there?
that later population figures of 282,000 plus by mid 2021 estimates.
So that's
Estimates.
why. That's why. No, this is what. Oh my God, this sounds like a grand theft. This is where this. Read that again. So the 282,000 that we are saying is an estimate.
That's what it said according to official BSS figures. The
It's
total
an
resident
estimate.
population
But
recorded on
the actual census is 269,000.
the 2021 census of the 1st of August 269,90 and 90, but the later population figure of 282,000 plus by mid 2021 estimates use statistical projections and other data sources beyond the census itself.
So I'm going to ask a question on here. So are you telling us that our voters list was more than the population of Barbados according to the census, not according to any
Estimates or anything.
estimates? So all along I was wrong. I was quoting the estimates. And when you go online and you just ask Google, Google gives you the estimates. Now, could it be that they allow the estimates to be at the 282 and they work the list just underneath that? Do you understand? Are these people playing with these numbers? Wow. Wow. So that's
Man,
why you see
Marcia, we can break it down if you want. Total population, the last census 2021, 269,090 people, 130,400 males, 138,700 females, 110,300 households. And we can go on down the line. That was the last official census that we are aware of. They even go into the age distribution. People 0 to 14 years, 18%, 15 to 64, 67%, 65 years and over, 15%. So if we are going by the last official census, the Electoral and Boundaries Commission list for this election was more than the population of Barbados, according to the last official census.
But that's the only thing you can go by. You can't go by estimates. It's a census. It's a census. So this is why when people say to me, Marcia, you could take a break right now from all of this, all of this activism and all of that. Take a little break right now. Look at this. Where is the media houses on this?
They have reporters. They have reporters, not investigative journalists.
Where is the media house? Who or anybody? Where are these people apart from the citizens that's going to do this? Can you imagine we had an election with our voters list more than the population of Barbados? The last time I heard something like that was in Dominica. When the Dominican said to me, Marcia, the reason that this man keeps winning every year, Skerritt keeps winning every year, right, is that our voters list is more than our population. He had to say it 3 times for me to understand. Now, here we go again. Another Cuban neighbor was elated to vote. First time in his life. And Bajans could not vote. The more I listen to this sounds like somebody sat down and decided to take the scam that they were doing over at in Dominica and to bring the scam to Barbados. Do you understand what's going on here, guys? Why are so many Jamaicans online saying that they got to vote? One person, two of them said, but I didn't even register. And you have Bajans who register and could not vote. You have Bajans born here. My son's name was not there. And they're saying he needed to register. That has to change. I agree. The more we look at it, electronic crazy, chaos by design. They have done it. Let me tell you what my Dominica friend says here. These are the person who's sending me. These are estimates. These are estimates.
Yes,
People
they're
are still telling
estimates.
me the wrong information. These are estimates. The census is what you go by. The population census. And I made that mistake as well. But those are estimates, statistical
Correct,
estimates.
correct. 2022 to 2026, Marcia, is what is referred to as post-census estimates, adjusting the population upward from 269,090 to the current estimate of about 282,700 people. But even if we took it to be so, it is impossible to have a electoral list of 271,000 people if the estimate is even at 282,700.
Yeah, but we're not even going. I agree with the point you're making, and that's the point I made before. But Dr. Ferdinand, this is very, very serious.
Yes,
when
it is.
When you have your electoral list more than your population, and you're being told that there are people, non-nationals, who did not register, saying out of their mouths, I was sent a letter stating my polling station and telling me I'm registered. Why? And they are Barbadians born here. This sounds to me like this is something that was put together.
Coordinated, maybe.
Something sounds fishy here.
And don't let anybody fool you, Marcia. People inside of the EBC are politically aligned. Let's fool ourselves.
Yeah, but even the EBC Commission, Dr. Ferdinand, we have to remember that only the 3 BLP members of the commission were meeting.
Correct.
And
that is a fact.
And they did not include the DLP, the 2 DLP commissioners.
That is a fact. That is not hearsay or conspiracy or misinformation. That is a fact. I spoke to one of the DLP commissioners, and I'm not calling any names. I spoke to that individual myself, and he confirmed that. At least you know it's a he.
Something is wrong here. Something is wrong.
And then you're going to have the CARICOM observers talk about, well, I guess in terms of how Barbadians conduct themselves, the election would appear to have gone smoothly and so on, because we are not talking here about people who are going to get up and violently protest and all of that. Barbadians are very civilized, and so they will take things in stride. But you're going to have this individual from the Commonwealth Secretary General talking about a small number of voters regrettably unable to find their names. This, however, did not materially affect the overall results. How would you know that? You were not even in the country. Where are you receiving that information from? Who is
Well, I
providing
mean,
you with that?
they had CARICOM observers here on the ground because of Mr. Thorne had raised some concerns, so the Prime Minister brought in these CARICOM observers. One of the things we need to remember, which was very, very strange, is that the Prime Minister was dressed just like the
Like
observers.
them. Yeah, just
She
like
had
them.
on that little
The
coat,
same
little
khaki coat.
the khaki coat, like them, like she's an observer. This woman is a piece of work. She was dressed as like the observers, like she's part of them. Did you all notice that? The voters list was more than the population of Barbados, and I'm not going to stop until I find the comment here. And this is why I love this show. I love this show. We are working this out together. I love this show. And we have the humility to work with each other.
Which comment are you looking for, Marcia?
I had a comment from someone from
someone.
Dominica, and I want to find it. Okay. I see you're there, Apostle. Just give us a moment. I'm going to just so I can settle myself on this. I must find it. And just give me a moment. But see if you can read some of Adrian, let me know if you want to jump on. Guys, see what you find, please. Yes. I found it.
Good. Let's hear it.
He says, is there an electors list padding disease blighting the Caribbean region currently? This is what Dominica is saying. I know that everyone has to avoid the Commonwealth of Dominica, for that disease is now a dangerously contagious plague here. Is there an electors list padding disease blighting Caribbean region currently? He says, I know that everyone has to avoid the Commonwealth of Dominica, for that disease is now a dangerously contagious plague here. We have not finished that. The Dominicans going to come on the show. We ain't finished with this yet. We ain't finished airing this yet, because they're going to speak to us about what happened in Dominica, why they kept winning year after year. The opposition could not win any elections in Dominica because of this same problem. They have now taken it and they brought it to Barbados. Is what they've done. Listen. Oh, I tell you. Now, I heard this from earlier in the year that the Prime Minister can say whether it's true. Did you handpick the Chief Electoral Officer, Prime Minister Motley? Is it something that there was somebody who had resigned and then you went back and got that person back? And if you did so, why?
Remember, Marcia, Adrian mentioned to us and spoke to us about the absolute power in the Westminster system in Barbados lying in the hands of the Prime Minister. Remember, he shared that with us.
Yeah.
I think it was Sunday, Wednesday. No separation.
Yeah. Let me let you know. Apostle, let me know when you're ready. So one of the things that we need to did you say yes?
Yes, he went up with
Now,
his
one
son
of the
went up.
things just before he comes that we need to add to the list, those of you who are taking notes for us, is that we need, when we go to March, we need to let them know we do not want the EBC to be registering deaths and births. There's a conflict there. We need an independent organization to register the deaths and the births, and then that is passed on to the EBC. They said that is coming into effect February 19th, and today is February 13th. I think we need a march on Saturday. Good night, Apostle.
Good night to you, ma'am. Thank you again for having me on the show. Rev, it's good to see you after Wednesday's debacle, but great to see you guys tonight.
Good to see you as well. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're looking at the fact that we have the facts here that the last census said that there were 269,090 people living in Barbados. That's the
Right.
official census. However, the voters list was over 271,000. So we've already settled that on the show, and that it is similar to what the exact thing that the Dominicans were concerned about, that there's a padding, and through that padding of the list is possibly where you're going to get some irregularities. All right. And that could it be that the padding of the lists made it possible for the results that we just had? We don't know. We're asking questions. You could jump right in, sir, before we move to the next.
Well, you know, Madam Weeks, let me just go back to the fact that in early November of 2025, I brought the issue here on this show that there was a need for an investigation into the activity of the Electoral and Boundaries Commission here in Barbados. And I think it is today that the nation carried the fact that the chief executive there at the EBC made it clear that they are still in the process of counting, getting the final tally of the votes from the election on Monday, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous. Okay. But it goes to show that, you know, for those individuals who, for some reason, don't seem to understand that this last election has demonstrated not only to Barbadians, but to the world, that the Electoral and Boundaries Commission does not have a very strong grasp on, or apparently never did have a very strong grasp on the electoral process as regards to the voters list. You know, I had so many individuals and so many videos that I saw, even in regards to here in St. Peter, you know, things that happened. But one of the things that I want listeners to understand is that at this point in time, you know, people are saying that, you know, there's no opposition, but I want you to know that it's the people who elect the government, and the people don't have to wait on someone to cross the floor in order to get a clear message to the government and to determine what we want and what bills we want and what we don't want. So this idea of once you are elected, all of a sudden you go above the people and begin to do your own thing. The day for that type of politics is completely over. I said this to a gentleman that I had a conversation with today, and it's really bad that only 30.8% of our
Correct.
voters. Okay, so let's suggest that already at 30.8%, you have a reality that 69% of the country did not vote at all and did not vote for the Barbados Labour Party. Now, if you determine from that 30% that, let's say, 20% of the 30.8 went to the BLP, That's still another 10.8 that is added to that 69. So we have, in reality, over 80% of the country that is not in favor of Mia Mottley being the prime minister. Okay, so you're basically the prime minister of 20% of the country.
And that's not a mandate.
Yeah, and
that is not a mandate.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying. Basic, because if 20% of the country elected you, it really isn't a win. And I think that's something that the Democratic Labour Party has to pay very close attention to. That the people have made it clear that they don't want Mia Mottley. It is just a certain sector of the island in terms of the youth, in terms of those who are staunch supporters of the Barbados Labour Party. And they themselves have recognized that even Barbados Labour Party supporters did not support the Barbados Labour Party again in this election. So pretty much you're just the prime minister of 20% of the country right now. So this is why I think it is very important for the new type of legislation that needs to be brought to the country in regards to how elections are done, because I'm aware that persons living abroad who are Barbadians and would have loved to vote, they had no time like they did in St. Vincent. They had the international residents of St. Vincent had enough time to book their flights and get home to vote. Okay, we have an election that is called on the 19th, the dissolution of Parliament on the 19th of January, an election on the 11th of February. The people have no time, and then you're struggling with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission that I found out the list was not properly updated since 1996. Okay, so this is a huge embarrassment for Barbados on a national, regional, and international scale, that we could not have a free and fair election. And this is something that we need to fight against as a people. And I think right now, I like what you're saying. I think right now there's a need for individuals to come forward and have the town hall meetings, structure, organizations within Barbados that in turn will begin to watch these things that are happening in our election, because today is Friday the 13th. And if the EBC is still staying in the news that you're still to come up with the final tally of votes on Friday the 13th, which is a holiday, and this is in the news today, then something is seriously wrong with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And I think, I heard you talking about the marches and having another one. I think we have to, right now, we have to become that opposition that this government needs right now. We, the people, we have to become the opposition to make sure that they do not go in there again after, in my opinion, stealing another election and begin to put things in place to marginalize and to put these new levels of control on the people of Barbados. So I think the time for mobilization of the people, I think we need to do that right away and make sure that we are in place to say to the government, this time around, you're not going to be able to sneak bills past us. We want to know what's going on. We want to have access to the bills. We want to read them. We want to have referendum. We want to have the town hall meetings. We, the people, we want a say in these bills that are being passed at this moment. As you can see, she's gone in there, and now we're doing this anti-crossing the floor bill. I don't know what that's about. That's just crazy. But again, it's this system of control that we, the people of Barbados, we have to make sure that it does not go over our heads to the point where it becomes out of control. So I think this is time for mobilization of ourselves as the people of Barbados to make sure that we can move forward to having free and fair elections.
Yes. And basically that's what we're saying. We're not going to those, you turn your anger into something of purpose. And what we can do is to, as citizens, demand free and fair elections as we go forward. And there's some particular things people are taking notes for me as well, so we can put it all together. We form our team and so on. But we want to move this along a little bit, and this conversation along, because I like to make sure that I discuss what I said I'm going to discuss. And I don't know if Dave is hearing me. I want us to put up the Wilfred Abrahams picture. Now, I saw where Wilfred Abrahams was now made the Attorney General of Barbados. And I don't want any of us to answer this. Because I want the audience involved. Audience, can any bright spark tell me what is the purpose of the Attorney General in a country? What is the purpose of the Attorney General? I'm waiting on the comment section.
You have to pardon me, Marcia.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to respond. I don't want us, because I want us to take us through, let me just check the comment section. To see that the laws are followed in simple terms, okay? Come on, let's stick to the discussion question, guys. Sometimes we're all over the place. We're going somewhere with this tonight. Let's stick with what we're discussing, all right? The AG is a chief legal officer for the government. It makes the laws of the whole government, legislative oversight and law and order. Okay, so we're not able to take calls now. Watch and see what's happening, guys. We gotta watch and see what's happening. I can't take calls right now. All right, because we're going somewhere. We're working together. The AG oversees the formulation and drafting of legislation. Organize, okay, and takes responsibility for the legal framework of the government. Right, so somebody come to class late. What is the role of the Attorney General in a country? Okay. Anybody else want to jump in there before we move on? We're doing this thing together, we're educating ourselves. Okay. Anything you want to add to that? Nobody else is saying anything. I'm not seeing anything else coming through. I think you're basically, in a general way, hi Benbow, and you have answered some of the questions, right? You have presented the answer to the question. Sorry about that. Anybody, any of the panel, anybody on the panel want to add anything to what was said?
You have anything to add, Apostle? Because I think
Yeah,
they were
well,
pretty.
from my understanding and having interaction with legal minds here in Barbados, in terms of bills and different legislations that are being brought to the Parliament. Part of the AG's responsibility is to make sure that the legal framework is in place as far as the Constitution is concerned, so that bills and legislations that are being passed do not breach the Constitution of Barbados. So in many cases, the wording of bills and different laws that the government may want to pass in Parliament, he also has to make sure that the wording of it is correct. So sometimes it's necessary for the AG to look over a draft document and make sure that the wording is correct, to take out might and add may, or will or shall, to make sure that the document, when it is passed, it is in alignment with the Constitution of Barbados.
The other thing I think too, Apostle, is that they're also responsible for reviewing agreements between the government and other entities. I will say other entities because those entities could be government, they could be organizations of different kinds, and so on, to ensure that the legislative framework is compliant with what our legislative framework is, to ensure that the contractual agreements that are made, are legally sound. Those kind of aspects, I believe, is some of the responsibility of the Attorney General's office.
Mike, that is correct, Dr. Ferdinand. And one of the things you mentioned about the Constitution, it is important that the Attorney General, that he's there to ensure that the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution, that our rights are not violated. Okay, and it is very, very important, because the AG, he advises on constitutional changes, right? If there's going to be any kind of constitutional change. And the AG, because of all that he or she has to do, the AG must sometimes, listen to this, guys, be able to say no to the Prime Minister. We'll be able to say, no, Prime Minister, that would be unconstitutional. So the AG requires someone in that office that has some amount of independence and backbone. I'm going to repeat that. The AG is supposed to have independence of judgment. Can the AG provide advice that is legally sound, but it is politically inconvenient for his party? This Attorney General you're seeing on the screen right now, Barbados, can the AG say, no, PM, that would be unconstitutional? Now, we're looking at this man from what we have seen of him in the public over the last 8 years, 7.5 years. This man, to me, is the biggest lackey inside of the BLP government. That's my honest view. He's the one that if they have some stupid thing that they want, that she wants to tell the people, like Independence Day will no longer be celebrated, this is the lackey that they send out to do it. This is the one in there that carry out the mess. Have the mess bucket and carry out the mess bucket. And you're telling me that I am to believe that this one that is on the screen here will have the backbone to stand up to the PM? Him?
Don't see it happening.
That is not constitutionally, PM. That is not correct.
Don't see it happening. Sorry.
Huh? Answer the question, guys. I know that all of them, they can't say anything. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But especially him. This man who what are the ministries that he has been what are the ministries that he's been over? And I'm not even here talking about his legal ability. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about this independence of judgment. Does his appointment inspire confidence in the fairness of the justice system? We are looking at he was just appointed. I want to ask the viewers, the appointment of Wilfred Abrahams as Attorney General, does that appointment inspire within Barbadians the fairness of the justice system? Huh? The protection of citizens' rights. We're going to pray for you what Neil Rose said that he did to him. Does the appointment of this man gives the public confidence that there will be the equal application of the law? Does his appointment give that perception? Especially in this time when we have such grave political imbalance. 30-0 in the House. He's appointed as the Attorney General. Am I wrong for asking these questions? I'm seriously. Yeah, we're going to continue praying, but he's supposed to be serving us. We're going to ask the questions because, I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable. You're going to tell me they don't have nobody more serious than him inside there to do this? This is a serious appointment. I don't care if he's acted before. I don't care if he's acted before. I am talking about my perception of this man here. Dave, this is my perception of Wilfred Abrahams. It might not be yours, but my perception of him is that if he tells you it's night, it's day. That's my perception. I'm entitled to my own opinion and my own perception. My perception is that if he tells you it is night, it is day. Dave, can you play the clip from Neil Rowe, please? You have it there, Dave? No? No. Okay. Play that for me, please.
A not guilty verdict. This must make you and your. This will make you guys feel very happy. We're also going to talk to Neil Rowe. Neil, you must feel quite vindicated by the decision.
Yes, please. I am very pleased. Just want to give God thanks, for giving me the strength to endure this situation from the beginning to end. I also want to thank my family, close friends, my lawyers, my support team. I'm very grateful to them, you know, and like I said from the beginning, even before it was charged, is that I knew that it was being set up for a crime that I did not commit, you know, and I said that then, and I will say it again now, that I knew I was set up for a crime that I did not commit.
So your political future is on the
I never stopped working, you know, I continue working, even when I went through everything that I've been through, I continue working on the behalf of my constituents and never stop, and I will continue to do my best for them as well.
Deputy Speaker.
Well, I will discuss that with the PM, you know, if I would decide to take back at the post or not.
And what was the support like from within the Barbados Party, the Prime Minister, others? What was that support like through the last 2 years plus?
Honestly, I would like to extend gratitude to Dr. Jerome Walker. He was one that I can honestly admit that was there at my side from the beginning to know. He was one that also had believed in my innocence, and I can admit that as well. Also, the Prime Minister, I want to thank her for her support as well in relation to the situation. It's unfortunate, you know, that one of my colleagues will come and testify against me in a matter that, you know I did not commit, and then on top of that, he took the oath and then tell lies, you know, to the court in relation to the whole matter, you know. So that is very disappointing, especially a man that sits in cabinet. So I thought that he should have known better as well. So like I say, I'm very grateful, you know, to be free and to prove my innocence as well. You know, I remain firm throughout this whole situation because I knew within myself that I did not commit the act, right? I mean, I don't know why it's so unbelievable for a man to date a woman before having to be intimate, you know, with her, you know. But like I said, I'm grateful, and thanks to my legal team once again, to my close friends, my constituents, you know, everybody that was there for me, everybody that sent me praises and let me know that, you know, they have me in their prayers. I'm thankful to them, you know, so I'm grateful.
Thank you, Dave. Leave it right there. Put it back to the picture with both of them on there. Any thoughts on this in terms of perception? I'm not talking about this man's ability. I'm just saying, you know, perception. For me, Apostle.
Yes, ma'am.
Any thoughts on this? I'm not sure if you were listening.
Yes, ma'am. I actually heard that clip myself. It was actually sent to me, and I paid pretty close attention to it. But even before this, you know, and adding to it, we have the issue of the, you know, him speaking to the folk there in St. John, where there was you know, a water bill with no water, and you know, saying to the lady that she may have a leak. She clearly stated that she wasn't receiving any water to her pipes at her property. And then again, you want to go back and look at the light that came out about Independence Day being changed to Republic Day, and all of these things that I don't know exactly if he's the one doing it or if he's the scapegoat. But if you're going to come to the public and you're going to make a statement on behalf of the government, and that statement that you're making proves not to be true, then you are the person that the public will accept as the face and the personality behind that light. And so there are many things that we've seen where Mr. Abrahams is concerned that did not really play out well for the position of AG. Sources, I think that this appointment is going to create a problem within the Barbados Labour Party. So I am pretty much expecting, I'm watching to see how things are going to play out after this. But I think what was needed in Barbados, and Mr. Thorne spoke about the integrity legislation. He talked about anti-gang legislation. He talked about anti-gun legislation that was necessary. So the mere fact that, you know, on the heels of this election, you can have a prime minister
elects, chooses an attorney general, and the first thing that they're thinking about is making sure that no one can cross over from their party over the floor to create an opposition. So, is up right here. I honestly would not say that my the percentage of my trust and confidence in him as an attorney general is definitely not very high. So, we've seen things to suggest even in the election, and a lot of people have things that they want to say, especially about the envelope where the guy apologized that he was the one that put the money in there. But if you go back and you pay close attention to that video, you look in the envelope. I slowed it down, I enlarged it, and you can see that he's telling individuals that he's the one putting that amount of money in an envelope from Mr. Abrahams, which is a registered envelope. You can see the tape at the back that seals those type of envelopes. And at the back of the money, there's an actual brochure of Mr. Abrahams in that envelope. So,
well, I mean, can I just
honestly,
jump in here to say that, I mean, they did say, because it's gone to court, and he's saying that it's not him, and so we have to present that as well, because we don't know if the young man put the money in the envelopes. I have to hasten to say that,
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that with all of these things that are happening surrounding him, okay, because it takes an individual with a very crafty type of mind to go through all of the work that's necessary to produce that video. First of all, to get that level of money, to get that type of envelope sent to you, which is not a normal envelope that is sent to individuals. Listen, at this point, I'm just making it clear to me. My confidence in him as the Attorney General just isn't there.
Right. And we just want to say that he has, denied any wrongdoing in that particular instance. What we played here was played by Starcom News. What we played is what was said by his colleague, not us.
Yes.
Never said it on here. I played what Starcom News said his colleague said.
Yeah.
And he has not, at this moment, he has never come out to refute it. It has not been refuted. And so that is what we've played. But the other thing, we just have to wait it out in the courts because, as you said, you don't know.
Yeah, well, I also listened very carefully to what Mr. Rowe said about his colleague. The part that really stood out for me is not just him testifying against Mr. Rowe, but he said that he lied on the oath.
Yes, he said
that's
that.
perjury.
We are repeating what the
gentleman
said. We don't know if he did, but that's what he said.
Yeah, he said that he lied on the oath. Okay, so I mean, if you're going to go into the court of law here in Barbados and you're going to swear that the evidence you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, put your hand on the word of God, and then lie on the oath, which is what Mr. Rowe said, and that's a huge allegation. That's a huge allegation against our current Attorney General, and there was nothing, as you said, there was nothing said about it. So at this point, I honestly cannot have confidence in him if he's the type of person that can lie under oath in the court of law. This is a dangerous position for him to be in.
Yeah, really, I mean, this is the same person who I heard in Parliament denying that he made a statement that all of Barbados heard. You remember when, you guys remember when he told the young people that they could leave the country and they could go somewhere else if they want to find a job. And when he was confronted with that statement that you said this to young people, I almost fell off my chair unless he didn't remember. He said he never said it. And everybody was poking fun of him and sending the video around when he actually said it. Yeah. And so it is these kinds of things that causes me And I can only speak of myself. I just do not have that confidence
Right.
in this man as Attorney General. Somebody says, give him the time to prove it. Well, you know what? He's been there about 8 years. And I look at all the ministries. He was the same one that was over the ministry where they had the issue with the girls, the girls' home, right? Yeah, where the children, they were on the floor and being beaten. And he said twice that he did a report and he found no abuse of the girls in the homes. By the time the marches happened, the petitions were made and everything was made, he then produced a report that he found cases of abuse.
Right.
It's it's really
horrible.
It's hard to how am I going to?
It's horrible.
Uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah. I'm not saying that we're not going to give him the time, because he does have the time. He's been, for goodness sake, he's been selected as the Attorney General. We're not saying that we're not going to give him the opportunity. We're just saying from our own opinion, from what we've seen so far, and it's my opinion, that I have not seen operation from him that allows me to be comfortable with him as the Attorney General. Okay, and especially if you can lay on the oath. Okay, and not just lay on the oath, but for goodness sake, that's your colleague. This is a man that ran in a constituency within your party. This is the Deputy Speaker of the House, for goodness sake. This is your brother in arms. And if your activity can say to him, yeah, I don't want you to be, I don't want you to be free. I want you to be, charged. I want you to be, sent to prison for this. I want you to be proven guilty. I can't really say much on that, because if he can sell his brother out, it wouldn't take much for him to sell a stranger out. So that's just Apostle Canterbury's opinion. He has all of the time in the next 5 years really to prove himself. Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Dr. Ferdinand, any comment before we move on, please?
Well, I would want to believe that somebody who is going to be appointed a chief law officer of the country should be someone that should, to some degree, be above reproach from a legal standpoint, with no controversy surrounding them. You may have disagreements with them, I get it. But with regards to controversy and things such as what we have just heard, those will tend to cast a shadow over that individual. You would want to believe, and I while you all were talking, I was trying to think of an attorney at law in the current administration that I could think of suggesting, and I have great difficulty in doing that. At first when Dale was offered forward, I thought, okay, I wasn't aware of any controversies or scandals or anything of that nature surrounding Dale at the time.
Exactly.
But in this case, it leaves one to feel a bit uncomfortable with the arguments that are being put forward with regards to this trial, as to his integrity and his ability to be objective in the face of whatever is brought to him by the Prime Minister.
And so that it's
good, very good.
Those are issues there. And then the other one is that he actually, somebody made note of, he always said, my Prime Minister. How can he be independent? How will he be an independent voice there in order to protect us, the citizens, and to ensure that our rights are not infringed upon? Right. That's one of the purpose. And to this person who is saying that saying he sold out Roe is actually quite nasty. Nobody on here said that. Absolutely nobody on the show. We read what Roe said, his colleague, his parliamentary colleague. That we're only saying what is, we only played actually the statement. We didn't say
Pretty
it.
much. Pretty much.
And I am saying that for me, that brings a shroud, a cloud over him. And then when I couple with what he did in St. John, he sounded a bit, like he doesn't, all the time he's not, his thinking is a little off. Sometimes he's not on all fours there. And then when I heard the blatant misrepresentation while he was in Parliament, when he said he never said that the young people who want a job, they could just leave the country. I was shocked. I was like everybody else, and I heard it. Yeah. And as somebody says,
so did I.
As somebody says, so what does that say about the PM when all of this is known?
Well, I think Owen Arthur answered that question. I don't think anybody has to ask. I think Owen Arthur answered that question quite adequately and quite accurately. I saw a couple of comments today, and I'm sorry, there's an aspect of this entire thing that we are missing, and it is the meeting of the Chinese Communist Party with this BLP at Robert Street. I don't think.
Hold a minute, Dr. Ferdinand. Hold that. We'll
no, I'm not going into that. What I'm saying is that the aspects that we are facing and seeing here is their playbook. And people think this is coming from a party or something of the sort. This is the kind of playbook, because you have a despotic dictator who positions people who are not going to oppose her and who will be afraid to do so. And that is exactly the CCP playbook.
Yeah, but very good point there. I thought we were going off on that.
No. Not yet. The time will come for that.
But before we go, there are two things that we want to do, and I had said it. I don't know if Dave can find the actual picture, Dave. Let me see, guys. Just bear with me. Let me see if I can get this sent to Dave right now. Lord help me to find it. I forgot, but I'll set this up while I'm looking for what I need to send to Dave. Right? I think I'm gonna find it. I forgot to send this one, Dave. Now there is a prophet that is, and you ministers, you don't have to say anything on this, because but I've got to address it. But you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I don't want to put you in that, position. But let me put it like this. Even if I don't get to put it up, there is a prophet in quotation. I put it in quotation. And he is saying that he prophesied all the 30 seats, and what Mr. Thorne did wrong, and he wants a meeting with Mr. Thorne so he can this, and then he's going off into all of these different things. Let me tell you something, folks. As a general rule, I want to say this to you, that, and the reason I'm addressing it, I probably got that prophecy, that whatever that is, about 40 different times. Probably not 40, but a lot of times. And the moment, I will tell you this, I don't know if any of you have seen it, Dr. Ferdinand or Apostle Canterbury, from the time he starts to speak, my spirit is telling me, no, this man is picking up from another entity. Listen, because you call something out right doesn't mean that you're a prophet of God. And then you're going to go into, I'm not even going to repeat all the things from that video. And I want to say to us, be very careful. In my opinion, from looking at the whole thing and getting I called another minister and I got some background. There's some people that embark on marketing strategies. And especially when they're going to get ready to come to shell out your money out of your bank account. So I prophesied this, and I did this, and I did that. And I want to ask that minister, are you still charging people for a prayer and a prophecy? Barbadians, be aware, beware, beware. Everybody who goes around and say that they're a prophet and you want to meet with thorn. For what? I am saying, people, be careful. Correct, Angelo. And I thought it necessary to say this. Be careful. Where is he getting that from? When I watched it, to the people, all the people, I couldn't get to respond to all of you because there were so many. Be careful. I don't care if they operate in Barbados. What I believe from looking at it and some of the things that are being said, I couldn't even finish watching the entire thing. Be very careful and don't be quick to be running after prophets. We're in a lot of people are in vulnerable states right now. You understand? You're emotional right now. You're angry. You're sad. And sometimes you have people who come now to pray on that. Be very careful. Yeah. As I said, those who are preachers don't have to say anything.
Well,
but I gotta say something when a lot of our innocent people are being drawn away. Go ahead. If you want to say,
I have to say something as well. And I speak to these matters on a regular basis. Many years ago, Reverend Dr. Holmes didn't preach a message, and he said, "He that has the word does not need a voice." Prophecy must always be substantiated from the word. Always. It cannot misalign with the word. That's the first thing. The second thing I have found is that in many instances, people who call themselves prophets, and I'm being, let me be cautious here in the sense that there are genuine prophets alive today. Let us not kid ourselves with that. But the truth of a genuine prophet is that their prophecy is brought to the place where it is judged by the church, however you determine that matter. That is a scriptural position. We have a lot of people who are trying to obtain credibility through this process. And in many instances, there are times I see people prophesy and I say, but I don't know where the prophecy is, because it's pretty obvious, a pretty obvious assessment if you really look into matters that would be the case. In addition to that, Marcia, I hear the words of Jesus out of Matthew 24. And he cautioned us that in the end of the age, there are many, and he didn't say a few, he said many false prophets will appear and will deceive many people. So that there has to be a standard by which we are going to be able to judge the accuracy and authenticity of a true prophet within the end of the age. And you will find that when you look at the prophets of the Old Testament, they pointed consistently to God and what God said. You would hardly, Apostle, you can correct me if you know otherwise, but very rarely would you ever hear them use the word I.
Yeah.
Very rarely would you ever hear them say I this and I that. They would say the Lord says, and thus saith the Lord, and the whole aspect was always what the Lord said. And it concerns me that there are many people. Prophecy to me, if you are a believer who is supposed to have a relationship with the Holy Spirit, prophecy ought to be confirming something God has been saying to you for a long time.
Right.
that you're not hearing for the first time. What's the problem? You got a problem with your father? You can't hear your father talking? But it's a reality that sometimes God speaks, but we are not obedient or we are not paying attention. But we know, Marcia, deep in our gut, we know it is God that has spoken to us. And the prophet, the true prophet, will stir that inside of you, and you will know that that is God.
Yes.
And that's what I'll say. Apostle, I would leave you.
Thank you. And let me add another important piece here. And thank you, Earl James, for confirming this, because I thought that this is what happened. Because I have done a lot of research and on some of these prophets from Africa. And you will see they come up and they say, oh, well, I prophesied this. They're very, very skilled, and they can change the date. All they've got to do is go and change the date, and then they produce. And this man is producing the prophecy after the elections, and people are all over this thing. I just want to say here, before you send any money to him, ask proper questions. Here, I went and asked questions today because I had a check, right? Check track records. Right. Use your brain. Follow the fruit.
That's right. There you go. Yeah. Follow the fruit.
Yeah. And you think we're stupid? You're bringing the prophecy after the elections.
After the fact.
Come on, please go and find some work to do.
Okay.
Man, don't get me started. Go ahead,
Apostle. Go ahead, Apostle.
Listen. Let me try to get through this as quickly as I can.
Yes, give us a short version. Give us a short version, because you will preach.
Yeah. One of the things that we have to understand, there's a difference between their prophetic levels. There are people who are seers, and then there are persons who are in the office of the prophet.
Yes, correct.
The prophet does not have to actually prophesy to be a prophet. But a person who is on a lower level, or a person who is a seer, someone that God speaks to, for instance, read the difference between Miriam and her brother Moses. The Lord said to Miriam, even though you're a prophet, I speak to you in dreams and in visions. But when it comes to Moses, I speak to him face to face.
Face to face.
So that's a different level. But the other part is that a lot of Christians don't know the difference between a prophecy and a word of knowledge. Okay?
Correct.
If God says this election will be 30-0, that is not a prophecy. That is knowledge. See? And what we don't understand in Barbados is that if I tell you your name, I tell you your favorite color, your boyfriend's name, your girlfriend's name, your birthday, how much money you have in your wallet. If I tell you all that stuff, that's just word of knowledge. When I tell you this is what the Lord says about your situation, that's when I'm prophesying. So what we don't want to do in Barbados is that we don't want to have a case where time has passed, and then we are saying, okay, well, this is what the Lord, you can say this is what the Lord showed me, but you cannot say this was a prophecy because it wasn't said before the time.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And this is where we have very immature persons, and we're not speaking against the individual. We're just clearing the ear so that persons understand that when it comes to word of knowledge, and when it comes to prophecy, when it comes to prophesying, and when it comes to the prophet, they're completely different levels. That's what we have to understand.
Yes. Thank you. For
glad you made that distinction.
For making that clear. I mean, your wife, who Heather Scantlebury, she prophesied something to me, and what she's prophesied, I'm living part of that right now. That was something that I wasn't thinking of, and I walked right into it. I don't even stop to think about it. I just only realized, oh, well, I guess that's what she said was going to happen, because honestly, she said it to me, and I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be sitting down and say, oh, Prophetess Heather Scantlebury told me this. No, I'm going to live my life, because the word of God in the scripture, I put that above any word of any prophet. I love your wife dearly, but I'm not going to live my life by that, because she said that. if it is of God, it will come to pass. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
not
That's it.
hungry for that. I have a
Yep.
relationship with God. And
Yep.
as much as I respect
Precisely.
Prophetess
Yep.
Heather Canterbury, I
Yep.
am not going to sit down and every day I am playing that and playing that over. I'm
Yep.
just not that kind of person. I'm not
Yep.
that needy. But I can
Yep.
honestly say, and the people have prophesied to me that what she said to me in that church today, I'm living part of that today.
Yep. Well,
So
I was there when it happened, you know.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
I
saying
was-
a prophecy doesn't work, but
Yeah, it does.
I'm cautioning people to stop this hanging on.
Yeah.
And he wants his church to be packed on Sunday because he hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's marketing.
Yep. Yep.
And it needs to stop. And we're not calling out, it's not just the government. Anytime they come with any foolishness against the people of Barbados, we're going to call it out.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Bible tells us that if a man speaks a word in the name of the Lord and it does not come to pass, then you should not fear that man. But if he speaks a word in the name of the Lord and it comes to pass, then you should fear that man. See, and this is why the dimension of the prophetic can take you into the past, it can bring you to the present, it can take you into the future. Okay, so it is not limited to our regular 24 hours. But we have to understand that a prophet must not conjure up anything. Whatever comes from the prophet has to be given to him or her from the Holy Spirit. That's what makes the gift authentic. That the information is coming to them from a higher source. It's not something that they're doing on their own. And that's why, and it must not be coming from a demonic side either. It has to be coming from the Holy Spirit. And that's what makes what we do authentic, because it is not the man, it is not the woman. It's the Holy Spirit using that person as a vessel, as a conduit to carry that information or to release that information at that moment. So we have to understand these dynamics.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. And I really just can only make one statement, and we'll continue this, God willing, on Sunday. We want to just to say thank you to all the candidates. Both of you have been candidates at some point in elections. It's not easy.
Yes, ma'am.
So with our final word, I want you to just say a quick thank you to the candidates who might be listening, or somebody may be watching who's a relative of a candidate who was not successful. We want to honor them and to thank them. And this is just a little preview of what we're going to do on Sunday. We're going to give them a whole segment on Sunday. All right. So going with Apostle, any thank you to the candidates. Anything you want to say to them?
Well, I want to say, yes, I want to say thank you to all of the candidates of the Democratic Labour Party. And people may be wondering, why Apostle isn't congratulating the other side. I know why I'm not doing that. But I want to say thank you to all of the candidates of the Democratic Labour Party. I supported Mr. Phillips here in St. Peter. But I want to thank them for the work that they did, for standing up, for coming out to take the time to be Democratic Labour Party candidates in a season of Barbados that is very, very volatile. And I want them to stay strong. I want them to know that the time is coming when we are going to see the back of the Barbados Labour Party. That framework is going to crumble. So I want them to stay strong. I want the Democratic Labour Party to, someone say they need to regroup, but no, you're still together. So you don't need to regroup. You just need to keep that group strong.
Agree.
Allow the Lord to give you the creativity to move on, to network, to be there, to be in the face of the public, and to show them that this was not just a one-off election for you. You are the Democratic Labour Party. You are still carrying on the legacy of Sir Errol Walton Barrow, and his dream for Barbados is going to be realized, and it's going to be realized in those individuals who stood up this time around to say, Barbados, we are presenting ourselves and we're saying to you, give us an opportunity. But the time will come, and I want to congratulate them for the work they did. It was amazing in the short space of time to build that level of energy and excitement
Yes.
across the nation. Fantastic. So I want to bless them and I want to congratulate them for their hard work. And I want them to keep pushing because something is going to break for them very, very soon.
Yes, yes, yes. Agree, agree. Dr. Ferdinand?
Well, Marcia, if anyone had told me that I would be a supporter of the Democratic Labour Party, I would probably have laughed at you, because my upbringing has been the Barbados Labour Party. Regrettably, however, I have to be a pursuer of truth.
Yes, sir.
And what I have found, and it came with the conclusion of Mr. Arthur's leadership of the Barbados Labour Party, when he spoke truth. And I had to make some decisions, and I made my decision. As a result, I want to congratulate every single one of the candidates. And I particularly want to congratulate Mr. Thorne on the matter of his leadership. I see a lot of people making comments about his leadership. You should try leading something someday.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think there was a statement that if you are leading and no one is following, then you're only out for taking a walk. That's all you're doing. Mr. Thorne led this team of new young people, predominantly young to the political environment, especially, and he led them in a very honorable manner. I watched his interaction with them. I watched his encouragement. It was almost like a father, actually. At times, I almost saw him as a father to the 29 candidates that he led. And I want to commend them on a tremendous job they did against significant odds.
Yes.
Tremendous odds.
Mm-hmm.
And against, in the spirit realm, which I was grateful to share with many of them and find them accepting it and acknowledging the aspect of the spiritual component that they were up against. And I congratulate them and commend them for sticking to the task. And it is my sincere hope that they will not give up because of one loss. Michael Jordan didn't give up. He lost 330 games, Marcia, and he didn't give up. This is only one election. And I want to encourage them to stick to the task. Put your hand to the plow and do not look back, because scripturally, Apostle, you would know the Lord says, if you do, you're not worthy.
Yeah.
So I encourage them to put their hand to the plow, look ahead, pursue what you believe is your value to your country, and bring around you a circle of people that would help you formulate vision and understanding and wisdom in engaging the future that lies ahead. And I will make myself available to assist in that area.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
and I want them to
I
know
think
that.
all three of us here, I have kind of I do whatever I'm doing from far. But only in the last couple of days, I realized that, Marcia, you've got to come in. This is Errol Barrow's legacy.
Yes.
And I want to go a little closer in, and Dave will tell you, we try to stay far and throw a little grain in, a little encouragement. We don't get involved too much, to be honest with you. But I think this is a different day we're in.
Different day.
And I think
different
all
season.
three of us, we are here at their disposal. All right, folks. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful evening we had. It was so inspirational, Dr. Ferdinand. A joy having you on. Thank you, Apostle. I wasn't sure you were going to be able to make it on. And what a wonderful team we have been here on this Friday night. Dr. Ferdinand, I mean, God bless you for jumping in. And we didn't even know, you realize from what I sent you that this kind of went a whole different way.
Oh, yes.
From what I sent you, because we had a plan. I sent him, and we just let the Holy Spirit lead us. Look, we're talking like it's church again.
But I think Marcia, there was a necessity for the encouragement that we started the program with tonight and continue for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
And as I listen to you, I think people needed this, let's call it the healing balm in Gilead. I think people needed that. And that was what this show was their show tonight. This was their show tonight.
Amen. Amen. Thank you to everybody who tuned on.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
had over 1,200 people watching, over 1,200 watching last night. And we want to let you know, the three of us here, we are committed to you. We are committed to you. Nobody's paying us and we're not going anywhere. Nobody's going to pay us off. I can tell you about these two men sitting here. I can tell you about them. Nobody, Scantlebury taking nothing from nobody. And Dr. Ferdinand, worse. We are not that type.
No.
We are here for you.
Yep.
Nobody's paying us anything.
There you go.
You hear what I tell you?
Not a dime.
Not a dime.
And
Not
you
a
can't
dime.
and you can't afford me anyhow.
No. And to the whole panel, we want to say thank you. God bless everybody. And
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
going to see you on Sunday. All right?
God bless.
All right.
Love you. Thank you, Dave. Love you. God bless you. Happy
Blessings.
Valentine's Day to everybody out there.
Oh yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
true. Tomorrow's
You too.
Valentine. Yes, happy Valentine's.
Happy
God
Valentine's
bless.
Day.
I love
Bye-bye.
you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you too.